Hey everybody, come join us here on The Experience this Monday, September 12th at 6 p.m. Eastern. Rex is going to be here, John's going to be here, Robbie, I'll pop in, Nick will pop in, we'll talk about our comics, we'll talk about the movies we're watching, we'll talk about TV. Maybe I can come in real quick and talk about how much I love She-Hulk. Oh my gosh, it's so much fun. I love Tatiana Maslany, she's my favorite. She's better than Meryl Streep. Yes, I said it. So, if that's up for debate, then let's talk about it on Monday. So, yes, Monday, September 12th. 6 p.m. Eastern, The Experience here on YouTube. Come check us out. Can't wait to see it.
Hey everybody, what's up? Welcome to Pop Culture Philosophers. Welcome to Rockin Robbie Live here at a special time on a Sunday night at 5 p.m. instead of 7. So we're a couple hours earlier, but we still got a great show. I appreciate everybody being here. This is the show where we gather, we talk about movies, comics, pop culture, and a whole lot more. I am, of course, your host, Rockin Robbie Billups. We got a great show planned tonight, including the DC sneak peek. We'll be taking a look at The Fog as the latest step in our John Carpenter chronological film journey. We're also going to be doing a Marvel in the 90s. We've really been focused heavy on some Image in particular, Rob Liefeld and Jim Lee, but we're going to do some Marvel in the 90s, kind of going back to where it all started, and then going back to where, anyway, then we get a little bit of a book report, show and tell, top 5 movies of 2015, all that and more. And even though we have a grandiose plan, this show is driven, fueled, if you will, by your questions, your thoughts, your comments, and your concerns. So thank you so much for being here. Let's see who is up in the house. Once you get in the room, say station or a pop, pop, boom. Just let us know that you're here to Zoom. We got GT Key Comic in the house. Circumstances, holla Chiefs. All right. They're up right now, right? They're playing. I can't remember who they're playing. I haven't watched any of the games tonight. By the way, the reason why we are early tonight is because the Cowboys play in a couple of hours. And normally I would just watch the game while doing the stream, but it's the first game of the year. Come on, y'all. I don't want you to see me get crushed if that's what happens. What's up, Digital? What's up? That one, Eric is in the house. Evil Face Bad, of course. Nova 69, dude. Yeah, we are early. Two Gun Pedro's in the house. Two Gun, thank you so much for the wonderful movie recommendation that we did last night on Dylan's Horror Show for Horror Fest 2022. We did American Mary. I loved the hell out of that film. That was a great conversation. Sam, what is up, my man? Station. James in the house saying, NFL is back, baby. Station, my friends. David says, wow, the Giants suck. I don't watch the NFL, but I got a free bet to use, so I bet the Giants as dogs, and it feels like getting kicked in the balls. They look like child clowns. They're playing the Titans, right? A bunch of my homies I see are at the Titans. So shout outs to Schaefer. Shout outs to Mike. Hope you enjoy the game. I've never been to a NFL game. Never been to a pro college game, I almost said. Never been to like a NCAA game or anything like that. Just been to MLB games as far as professional sports. Man Cave, what is up? The Urban Cowboy. Okay, I'll take it. Why not? Sleepy Reader, what is up, Damien? How you doing, brother? David says, 0-2 in gambling so far. Rams and Giants both buried themselves right on the first drive of the game. Nothing like having some skin in the game to make you loathe pro athletes. Hey, what's up, Ari Ariaga? CTA Frank, Kenneth, and Invisive from Brazil. Nice. How you doing? Yeah, so I guess the Titans are playing right now, right? Are they kicking the Giants' ass? And the Packers, last I saw, the Packers were losing to the Vikings. So we'll see what happens. I'm not going to talk any shit yet, Maker, because Cowboys ain't played yet, and we're going against the Bucs tonight, so we'll see what happens. I will say this, though. You should follow Pop Culture Philosophers on Facebook and on Instagram. And if you're on Facebook, you might as well make it official and join the PCP Army. That's the official Pop Culture Philosophers Facebook group. Lots of fun there. You can find podcasts and more at popculturephilosophers.com. You can find me on Twitter at the Rockin Robbie, and you can support the channel at patreon.com/PCP, like these fine PCP patrons right there, or with the super chat, which does trigger some form of celebration. What's coming up here on the channel? Well, we are ass deep right now into Horror Fest, so we continue tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Central Time on PCP Movie Night with a look at Dario Argento's Deep Red, a.k.a. Profondo Rosso. Very excited to talk about this giallo classic. Then, of course, Thursday night, we'll be here for episode 5 of She-Hulk Talk, spoiler talk with the Bad Batch, with the excitable PCP crew. That show has been so much fun to do. Overall, it seems like we're all just kind of like lukewarm on She-Hulk. It's got some bits that we like, some bits that we don't, but we are all in agreement that the after show is where to be. And then we get Dylan's horror show rolling on through with Alice, Sweet Alice, another pick from Two Gun Pedro. Very excited. Me and Dylan will be watching this one for the first time. And this is a movie I've always heard about. I remember watching Bravo's 100 Scariest Movie Moments or whatever from the aughts. I remember watching that. In fact, somebody just recently uploaded the entire thing up on YouTube again, and definitely something to watch. But I remember first hearing about this movie on that from Eli Roth, so I'm excited to watch this movie. So it's 70s week here at Horror Fest, it seems. We don't plan these things out, but we got Deep Red tomorrow night, which is a film from 1975, and we've got Alice, Sweet Alice on Saturday night at Dylan's Horror Show, a film from 1976. Sam says, everybody hit that like button. That's right. It really helps us out if you hit that like button. Comment on the video, participate in the conversation. That's all the support we need. I really do appreciate it. And subscribe if you haven't already. Two Gun says, heard you read the trade I sent you, Slasher by Charles Forsman. Hope it wasn't a waste of your time. No, it wasn't a waste of my time. I was very intrigued by the book. Right now, I would say, Two Gun, that it's an interesting book. I don't quite know how I feel about it. So I'm starting to read it, and I'm getting into it. At first, it takes a minute to get into the art, but it's kind of got that like outlaw feel, right? All right, a little amateurish, but something like the writing was really good, right? And the way it was paced and the way it was laid out. So I'm getting into it, and then this book has a twist in it. And when the twist happened, I got so fucking confused. I thought we were in Cronenberg territory or some shit. But the twist happened, and I'm still trying to wrap my head around how I feel about that, because there were certain things that are literally scenes that are just trickery because of the twist. They're just trickery. So I think I need to reread it, knowing the twist, and see what happens. However, an incredibly intense, evocative look at the psychosis and connection to like a sexual repression or something. It's an interesting book, and it was one of the more interesting books I read. I read that the other day, and I read Tarantula by, is it Zirit? Anyway, read those. Both of those books. I liked both of them, so wasn't a waste of my time. Right now, off the dome, I would give it like a 3.5 probably. But on a reread, we'll see what happens. But thank you for sending that. I really, really did enjoy it. David says, didn't see the She-Hulk after show. You guys shitting on it, or has it turned a corner? Well, we also thought that episode 4 was the best one yet. But overall, the average ratings that we've been getting for the show have basically been around 3 to 3.5. Some like it more than others. Some don't like it more than others. But overall, it seems like we've enjoyed episodes 3 and 4 more than 1 and 2 as a collective. Have you seen the Secret Invasion trailer, Robbie? Cool little tidbits coming out of the D23. I did see it, and I thought it was all right. I'm not, you know me, I don't like to focus on negative things, right? But I wouldn't say that I was disappointed in D23 or D20, whatever, the Expo, the Disney Expo. I wouldn't say I was disappointed, but I would say that I was underwhelmed. I was anticipating, and it's mostly for my own expectations, which a lot of other people had. We were anticipating that we were going to get like maybe a Fantastic Four cast announcement. Instead, we just got the director announcement. I was hoping to maybe see Mahershala Ali as Blade, like an image. That'd be cool. But you know what we got was what we got, and so to run by it, I thought the Secret Invasion trailer was fine. I am excited to check out Secret Invasion. It feels like a 90s political spy thriller kind of thing. Kind of got that vibe, right? So I'm down for it. I'm down to see what we do there. I didn't see like the Star Wars trailer yet. I thought they did like a Mando trailer, and I think they did something else. But I did watch the Werewolf by Night trailer, and as I said last night in the PCP Army, it kind of looked fucking stupid to me, to be honest with you. I'm a horror fan, okay? And I like werewolves, and I like Werewolf by Night. I got the complete collection down there, you know, the trade paperbacks. But I even got some of the old school issues. I think I have his first appearance. Do I have his first appearance? I might have his first appearance. I don't know. Anyway, moving on. I don't know if I have his first appearance. Maybe I have his first solo book or something. I don't know. I'm getting distracted now. Okay, so 1930s Universal vibe. Black and white, cool. But the trailer, it just didn't do much for me. I saw people say it was kind of like grindhousey, and a lot of people liked seeing Man-Thing, and that was cool. I'm just going to have to wait and see. Because the trailer didn't do anything for me, except for make me think that they were going to just not take Werewolf by Night at all seriously. But I could be wrong, but we shall see what happens. But it gets me worried about Blade. Blade can't be too jokey. I mean, he can be jokey, but he's got to be the right amount of jokey. You know what I'm saying? He's got like, I don't know. And I'm not saying that Blade's going to be jokey, but it just looked fucking doofy, right? Like, I mean, I love the way it looked. It looked cool. Loved that vibe, but man, they were playing up the comedy on it. I don't know. We'll have to see. We'll see. And I've already decided we're going to do an after show for that. It's a Halloween special, I guess. So it releases October 7th. Which is also the day that something else releases, and somebody was like, well, what would you do? And I was like, well, that. Over Werewolf by Night. I don't even remember what it was now. Something else was happening October 7th. Who knows? But what else? Did we get anything else? Secret Invasion trailer's cool. Werewolf by Night trailer, I see a lot of people into it, but like I'm just like, man, I don't feel like they're going to take it seriously. Yeah, I can't think of anything else. What else was there? Y'all remind me. Sam says, just watched Deep Red again today. That damn doll is creepy as hell. Oh, it is. I love that fucking movie. That movie is so good. And it, like, even when you rewatch it, it's not until the days afterwards where I really start appreciating it again. Like, it really, like, swells up on you in the days after rewatching it. Sleepy Reader says, I enjoyed The Revenger by Charles Forsman a while back. I haven't read that one. This was my first Forsman book, so I might have to check that out because it was interesting. He was an interesting creator. I liked kind of his perspective and what he was trying to say with the story. Joram in the house. Tune in. Station PCP Army Rockin Robbie Sunday Night Live. Talk about that ass deep. Hashtag join in. Station, buddy. Ass deep. Funny you mentioned Cronenberg. Tried to get into Cosmopolis with Rob Pattinson. Just couldn't. Oh, I haven't ever seen that one. Is that a Cronenberg film? Hey, we got Jim Min in the house. Station. Jim Min. How you doing, buddy? Haven't talked to you in a minute. Hope you're doing well. Hope everything is swell. Jim says, Universal monster vibe. Yeah, they definitely got that kind of look, right? And the look looks cool. The look looks cool. There was just something about it that smelt of cheesery and tomfoolery. But it did look cool. It did look cool. Speaking of comedy, have you read Alma Quare? No, I have not. I'm all for that black and white vibe. I wonder if the special is going to be black and white or if it was just the trailer. I'm sure it's the whole thing, right? Surely. Big Herm says, my pick of the week was Poison Ivy #4. Love it. I'm liking Poison Ivy. I'm not liking everything about it. Sometimes I'm reading it and I'm like, I don't like this aspect of it. Then it goes to a scene that I absolutely love, like some of the horror elements that are prevalent. But I do find, and I'm glad you enjoyed it, Herm. I'm not picking at you. I do find it weird for me as a reader that they lean so heavy into her being just this horrific, murderous villain, but they're also trying to, like, I don't know. They haven't quite met that balance perfectly for me, but I'm still enjoying the book. So, you ever watch any UFC? Catch the event last night? No, I don't watch any UFC stuff. I got some homies that do, and I used to like crash some of their like shindigs and parties and stuff, and I'd watch it a little bit, but I was more interested in just drinking and talking, hanging out, and meeting people, you know. And for me, it's baseball, basketball, football. The ones I like to watch the most are those ones for sure. Man Cave Theater says, miss the back and forth reviews by Jim and Robbie. You know, I miss it too. You know, I'm sure he misses it too, but we all got to move on and do other things and try other things. But no, me and Jim had a great time doing those series videos, and it's not like you'll never see us on a video together again, I'm sure. She cheated on Harley, though. Well, they were on a break, as Ross would say. They were on a break. They are on a break, Herm. Come on. I know you're upset right now. Jets didn't look too good today, but it's okay because at this level in the season, I'm not prepared to talk shit to anybody on their team because Cowboys haven't played their first game yet. We'll have to see what happens. All right, let's not hesitate any longer. It's time to do the First 5. We've been going through the Blu-ray collection for a while. We're actually going to reach the end of it tonight. So we're in the X's, and the X's start with X. This so far is my favorite film of 2022. Everything Everywhere All at Once is like right underneath it. This is just such nice, fun, ridiculous, sexy, old school slasher though. I just didn't think I didn't think I didn't think it was possible to make movies like this anymore, and I fucking love this movie. So X is great. If you haven't watched it, I highly encourage you to check it out. Then we got this X-Men trilogy box set. X-Men used to be a trilogy, believe it or not. They are individually cased, so we'll count them as individual movies. I'll show them to you. Where we have X-Men, which I really love this first X-Men film, and it still holds a lot of special memories. I worked at the movie theater when that came out. Then we got X2, X-Men United, still probably my favorite X-Men film. I don't know, it's either this one or First Class. And then X-Men, The Last Stand. This was the worst X-Men film until they tried to basically redo this. They let the same guy try to redo this, and he gave us the Dark Phoenix movie. Those movies suck to me. I can't stand those movies, but, you know, there you go. I love the first two. And this was a cool swag-ass box when it first came out. So why not? And then there is X-Men First Class right there. I really like this movie. This is just like a bare-bones Blu-ray. Is there a better version of this? There's like nothing on here. There's like no special features or nothing. Anyway, I really like First Class. So that was your first 5. All right. Well, apparently there was an Indy 5 trailer at D23. Positive buzz around it, though you never really know. Yeah, I heard that too. And I was working when the stuff was going on, but I had this live chat going on that I was kind of paying attention to, where it was like a live, like a live tweeting of it and some shit like that, right? And I was keeping up with it, so I'm excited to see another Indiana Jones movie, I guess. We'll see what happens. Not having Spielberg there, that's going to be like, oh, come on. So it's like the one he doesn't do is going to be this one, but it's okay, man. Gold seems to be a good enough director. We were talking about him last night because Scarpad was showing off on Dylan's Horse Show that he had gotten the 310 to Yuma remake, which was Mangold, right? Anyway, so there was that. Yeah. But no, I'm excited. I'm the person that doesn't really think Indy 4 is that bad, okay? I know a lot of people got their problems with it. I've heard it all. I get it. I understand. Everything negative I've heard about that movie is valid, but for some reason, I still enjoy that movie. It's weird. It is weird. It's just one of those bad movies I really like. It's like fucking the Street Fighter movie of Van Damme and Raul Julia, man. The movie's terrible, man. The movie's awesome. I wonder if Battlefield Earth would be like that on a revisit. I haven't seen that since it first came out in movie theaters. I know that we're going to have to do that one day. Oh, by the way, I got an announcement. The winner of the PCP Army movie poll for Horror Fest 2022 is Green Room. So it's an A24 film. Mike was the one that picked it for the poll. I know I saw it's got Patrick Stewart in it. I've never seen it. I think most of the crew haven't seen it. So the Green Room is the winner of the poll. It was a tight race between 3 films. Green Room and Sleepaway Camp and Tusk. And out of all of the ones that were in the lead, I wanted Sleepaway Camp to win because I think that would be cool to see Brooks. I don't think Brooks has ever seen Sleepaway Camp or has ever watched it or knows anything about it. Green Room seems fine. I'm interested to check it out. Tusk, I hated. So at one point, those 3 films were like dead even for like days until the Green Room started picking up. So I'm glad Tusk didn't win. But I will go ahead and make the announcement that Sleepaway Camp will be done for Horror Fest 2023. So there you go. Man Cave says, heard about X. X is a good movie. Big Herm says defense was good. It's the offense. Well, that with the turnovers and the Butterfingers. Got to have both. That one, Eric says, X was definitely the weirdest of the Fox X-Men movies. I agree. Out of that whole franchise. And a weird for it to be a prequel. Nah, I'm actually really pumped. They're doing a prequel to X. You can call it that in a way. Called Pearl, which is out. Shit, it may already be out. It may have come out this week. I haven't been to the movies in a minute. It's been a minute. Good to hear X-Men Last Stand is still terrible all these years later. Was hoping. I know some people that do find some kind of cult appeal in it, David, but not me. I hate the music in it. I hate everything that happens in it. The only thing in it I like is that Kelsey Grammer's playing Beast, but like he didn't get to do shit. Like I hate that movie. I really do. Hey, Taki's in the house. Pop, pop, boom, man. How you doing? Good to see you here. Raphael's in the house. Nothing sucks as bad as Thor: Love and Thunder. Never going to get that time back. What we're seeing now is we're seeing the swell of reactions again, re-reactions and reactions to Thor: Love and Thunder because it just showed up on Disney Plus. So all these people that waited are starting to see it, and I am seeing a lot of people unhappy with that film. And apparently they redid some of the CG and maybe actually made it look a little worse. I don't know. I'd have to really dive in to check it out for myself. But yeah. Man Cave says, Green Room is fire. Same dude directed Blue Ruin. Oh, what's his next movie? Red Stones? This has got the color trilogy coming. I don't think Thor Love and Thunder was the worst Thor movie. I'll say that. Isn't Johnny Depp in Tusk? He is. So is his daughter, right? Should do Sleepaway Camp 1, 2, and 3 next year. I would. If I could get 2 and 3, that would be easy. You know me, I like my physical media, and I like to own the physical media of all the Horror Fest movies for some reason. It's a weird thing I have. So, Toucan, thank you for helping me out with that this year. But the Sleepaway Camp 2 and 3 Blu-rays are pricey. I hope they eventually do it like something like right now. It's as far as like horror Blu-rays, my want list, like the grails for me right now are the Slumber Party Massacre 2 and 3 double feature and Sleepaway Camp 2 and 3. Those ones are a bit out of my price range. I also need to get a Dolls. But a lot of these are being re-released on 4K, and so when that happens, those go down. In fact, I've been thinking about going ahead and jumping the gun and getting Return of the Living Dead, the Scream Factory edition, because they jumped down to like, I've seen them for like $30 now. Those things were like $80 or something. Yeah, Tusk is the kid from Jeepers Creepers and Dodgeball is in Tusk. Who is that? Justin Long? He's in there, but Johnny Depp is in there. Like, he's disguised, though. He's in disguise. Bob from Everything Comics in the house. Go Cowboys. Good evening, Robbie, my homie with the steel trap domey. Good evening, comic fam. How you doing, brother? Good to see you. Good to hear from you. Hope you're doing well, and hell yeah. Let's go Cowboys, man. It's time. That's why we're a little early tonight, so we can all watch the game. I'd love a Nightmare Blu-ray set, says Fable. I would love like a Blu-ray set for Nightmare on Elm Street that had a lot of love and attention put to it. Now, there is one, and I have it, but it's incredibly bare bones, but at least you get, the 7 movies on Blu-ray. So that's what I got, but I would love if they did something like Scream Factory did with the Friday the 13th or the Halloween set. I don't even have that big Halloween set. I just kind of got the like cheaper, thinner version of that. But with the Halloween movies being released on the 4K, I was thinking about maybe I should just get those. Eventually, I'll get a 4K player. I got the TV. I'll get the player one day. So, I don't know. Maybe just get those, or now that nice box set's cheaper, like maybe go there and just get one of those. I don't know, man. I don't know. Just because I am a completist, I would like to have the television cut of Halloween 1. I would, because I do like some of those extra scenes when you're doing a double feature night in particular of Halloween 1 and 2. It helps to kind of watch that one because it ties them together just a little bit more. Not that it's necessary, but I do like the oddity of it, right? The nostalgia watching that version on TV a lot when I was a kid. And then and having the producer's cut of 6, even though it is a travesty. Is what it is. Spent most of my whole fucking teenage and adult life just begging to see the producer's cut of Halloween 6, and you finally do, and it's just like, oh, this is terrible. Time to jump into a 4K. It's surging. Artist formerly known as Jesse say, what? Oh shit, missed the early start. Station all the people, hey, that's how we got in before you, because you're usually like right there first, right? But yeah, Fable, a fantastic idea to do a really good Nightmare set. That's one on people's wish list like crazy. And also, how about Freddy's Nightmares while we're at it? I think there's a German Blu-ray release or something that just came out, so if you got region free capabilities, I think that's available. I was going to look into it, but right now I'm in a spend less zone in life, as we all hit, Y'all talking about Enemy Mine? I've never seen that one. What I did spend a lot of my time today doing, though, was watching Cobra Kai. Cobra Kai Season 5 is back, and it's like out of fucking nowhere. It's been less than a year since Cobra Kai's come back, and now it's here. And I remember I was like, oh man, is it? Oh crap, it's September. Of course it is. I got all wrapped up in Horror Fest. I forgot Cobra Kai was on the way. So in the midst of everything, It's like, let me just check out the first episode. You know, there's other things. I'm doing a rewatch of Twin Peaks right now. I'm enjoying that. There's Horror Fest movies to get to, things to read. And I was like, well, let me just watch the first episode of Cobra Kai. Watched 4 episodes. And that's how Cobra Kai gets me, man. I love them. The episodes feel longer. Now, I'm not going to give any spoilers. But 4 episodes into Cobra Kai Season 5, it's better than the start of all the seasons but 1 for me. Like, I think this is... Cobra Kai, I know it's just a silly nostalgia bait show, but they do real character work. They tell real stories. They keep it compelling. They keep you guessing. And I've heard it goes even further as the episodes progress. So 4 episodes in, I'm loving it. I'm loving it so much, man. And the way that they're able to, you know, we talked about Scream franchise, right? And in the latest Scream movie, and even in Scream 4, there were some issues of blending the legacy characters in with new characters and making the connection work and making it feel organic and natural. They do that so well with Cobra Kai. Like, out of all these shows that are nostalgia bait and use legacy characters with new characters and try to recreate something, who would have ever thought it would have been Karate Kid? Who would have ever thought that Karate Kid, which is an absolutely astonishing, amazing movie, one of my favorite movies of all time, one of my first favorite movies, I love Karate Kid, cannot believe that we've never done Karate Kid on PCP Movie Night. Gotta correct that. I also love 2. Don't really like 3, but I appreciate 3 more now because of what Terry Silver's been like in the last couple seasons of Cobra Kai. Terry Silver is is so badass. He's as a villain, and he's so threatening, and like, it's good. Like, Cobra Kai has been good from the fucking start. At times it gets a bit melodramatic and Power Rangery, but man, I don't give a shit. Like, I fucking love this show. I get plugged in. I get emotionally attached to the journey of these characters. I love Cobra Kai. So far into season 5 of Cobra Kai, and I'm giving it a 4.69. We'll see what happens, though, when I finish. I'll let you know next week. Perry in the house. What is up, Perry? Perry says, Cobra Kai slaps so hard. So hard. It's not the only thing Perry slaps so hard. Come on, Robbie. Enemy Mine is good. Just see it. Maybe they will let you on the review. I hope they'll let me in. 1 episode turned into 4. Sure did, bruh. Sure did. And in fact, I was afraid that might even happen. So before I even watched it, I made sure to watch Rings of Power episode 3 because I really was not looking forward to watching that. After a week of letting episodes 1 and 2 of Rings of Power settle in on me, I was like, I don't really remember much about it. It was kind of boring. It was okay. That's what I said last week. I was like, I gave it a 3. We'll see how it settles. And it didn't settle very well. So knowing that 1 episode of Cobra Kai might lead to 4, and in fact, if we didn't start early tonight, if the Cowboys weren't playing at 7, if Cowboys were like, if football didn't start today, I probably would have watched all 10 episodes of Cobra Kai with the way that shit was going. I'll tell you that. Chosen is awesome in that so far. And by the way, and also, so I was afraid that I was like, I just got to watch Rings of Power because somebody's going to ask, and I'll just give it 1 more episode. If it doesn't grab me, I'm done. I loved Rings of Power episode 3. I fucking loved Rings of Power episode 3. My expectations, way low. The expectations at first weren't that high, but they just got a little bit more compelling. They started like lingering in on a story, right? They started actually doing some interesting things. They started trying to make Galadriel a little bit more complex as a character, and I was appreciating that. Even the stuff with the hobbits, where I didn't give a shit about the hobbits or this wizard that fell from the sky. I am deeply emotionally involved with their little fucking journey now, their little migration. I'm down for that. The elves being captured by the orcs there, and like, and then at the end when they were like, what, you know, when they're like, oh, and you're like, ah, and it cuts, I was like wanting more. So congratulations, Rings of Power episode 3. I thought was rather splendid. I really did. I did like it. I would give episode 3 a 4, which to me, for a 3 to move up to a 4, something that I didn't even want to watch this episode, that was strong for me. I was really pleased with episode 3 because it Rings of Power. Like, that's the one. That's like, they should have released these 3 episodes together. Now, maybe they didn't because they were like, let's be honest, maybe it's going to be a little bit more of a struggle to get through 2. But there's this land that they're on, this island kingdom called like Numenor or something like that. That shit was fantastic. Everybody keeps talking about how it's the most expensive show on television ever and all that stuff. You can see it. That money's not hidden. We were talking about that last week. Like, it looks gorgeous. This movie looks beautiful. I mean, the show looks beautiful. It's gorgeous. It's shot well. And everything started to click for me in episode 3. I really liked it. So if you watched the first 2 and you thought it was all right, but it didn't quite sell you, I would recommend checking out 3. So there you go. B Black says, Cobra Kai is a little cringe for me, but I love your enthusiasm. Well, thank you for that. No, we never did Karate Kid Fable. And the thing is, here's the problem. I was thinking about it today, actually. It's like, we should do Karate Kid, and we almost did it last year. We did. It was something that we thought about doing. But my thing is, okay, you could do a franchise review on Karate Kid. That way you can tackle 1, 2, and 3, and then you could do next. And then I've never seen the remake with Jackie Chan, and I don't remember his name, but Will Smith's kid, Jaden, maybe. So I've never seen that one, so it'd be a good excuse. But at the same time, I really want to focus in on just that first movie. And sometimes when we do these franchise reviews, we don't get to focus in. But it's pretty soon we're going to do this, where like, we focus in on a movie. Like, I think Lethal Weapon's going to be something that we might do eventually again, even though we did the franchise review, to really dwell for like an hour into just one of those movies would be really cool. And that's why we did Die Hard the way we did it. We haven't done the franchise on Die Hard, but we will. That being said, we'll probably do Karate Kid as a solo PCP movie night at some point, but then eventually do a franchise review. It's kind of the same struggle I'm having right now. Me, Jelani, and Brooks were actually talking about this in person when we were hanging out Wednesday about Rocky, about how are we doing Rocky? Are we going to do just Rocky, or are we doing the Rocky, all 6 movies? Or are we doing the 6 movies plus Creed? Is Creed its own thing? Do we do a double feature? You get what I'm saying? So we're kind of working that out. So I want to know feedback. I got you guys right in front of me. When we do the Rocky review, which is coming in 2023, do you want us to just focus on the first Rocky movie? Do you want us to do a franchise review of all the Rocky movies? Or do you want us to do a franchise review of all the Rocky movies and Creed all in one? So let me know what you think. Zach is in the house. What is up, my man? Did Cobra Kai ever bring back Hillary Swank? You mean Swank? Hillary Swank, right? No, not yet. But that is like the last. They brought back pretty much almost every other major character. This would be like the last one. Like, when they're gearing up for the last season, I feel like the cliffhanger teaser at the end of the penultimate season of Cobra Kai will be Hillary Swank showing up. That's what I think. Connect it to next Karate Kid. Recontextualize that. Because Terry Silver is such an over-the-top, ridiculous villain, but Cobra Kai made that work. Like, in just a few lines of Cobra Kai last season, when he's telling, man, I was so coked out in the 80s. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. And when you watch the movie, that is what's going on. It's wild. It's wild. B Black says, I'm enjoying Rings of Power. It's definitely not as bad as I heard it was. Oh, not at all. And I'm telling you, I loved episode 3. I thought episode 3 I loved episode 3. Like, all the shit with the elves, even the Galadriel shit, they started working with her. There are, the one thing is, there are some bits where it's just like, okay, I get it, but you're like kind of telling the same stories. An elf who loves a human, an impending darkness on the way, the world of man refuses to believe in it, the elves are not wanting to work with everybody. I get it, but at the same time, it's compelling. And it's beautiful to look at. That whole scene when they go into, I think it's called Numenor or something like that. That shit looked awesome. Shit looked awesome. Rings of Power episode 3 was great. I'm pumped for the next episode now. Because it also is moving. The story starts moving. And the thing is, they were going so freaking slow in those first 2 episodes. It's so weird because you anticipated this slow pace. But they really, if you think about where we are now in the story, we're moving. We're picking up momentum. So I'm excited to see how they develop it. Evil Face Bad, the show is so early tonight because the Cowboys play in a couple of hours, and I want to be sure to be able to watch that. So instead of skipping the show, I decided we just start a little bit earlier. Episode 3 was pretty dope. That wolf creature had that Beetlejuice animation. It kind of did. Right? The wolf creature, the warg, it was interesting. First 2 episodes could have been done as one. I think so, Scarpat. Have you watched 3 yet, Scarpat? I don't remember. I think I asked you about it last night. 3, I really liked 3. It's cool seeing some of the locations that were destroyed in Lord of the Rings. Absolutely. Fable says, even though the greatness went down after each Karate Kid, I think they're pretty enjoyable enough for a series review. Okay. Our Ariaga says, 100% agree on Rings of Power. 3 was the charm. I'm glad they didn't put out the first 3 episodes at once because I fell asleep 20 minutes in episode 2. Yeah, it was probably better for them not to. But like Scarpat says, maybe a lot of stuff in 1 and 2 could have been put together. But if they keep delivering on this kind of scale with what they did with episode 3 and they keep intensifying it and moving that momentum meter. Someone call Manny. We got a t-shirt design. We need Rockin Robbie's momentum meter. Anyway. Yeah, I'm liking it. Do all the Rocky movies and then Creed in consecutive weeks. You want us to do like 6 movies on 1 week and then a double and tell the guys, or you gotta do a double feature the next week. You gotta understand, I don't think they plan like as well as I do. I've already watched one of my Nightmare movies. I got the remake out of the way. I'll probably watch the original Nightmare this week too. I've been planning it. I've been planning my movie watching for the week. Evil Face Bad says, Rings of Power is my shit. Also would like to see you do an Expendables franchise and Action Fest. Yeah, that is definitely something that we're thinking about. For sure. That Dark Crisis is too fire. Anybody think Nightwing will lead the new Justice League? No, I mean, I'll tell you what, man. I've been fortunate to read issue 5 of Dark Crisis, and if you like what's being done with the character of Nightwing in the pages of Williamson and Samperi's Dark Crisis, you're going to really like issue 5. And I thought issue 5 was awesome. Thought it was really cool. Thought it was cool a lot. Oh, yeah, man. Fable the Nightmare Show is going to be so good. B Black says, Ring of Powers has all the tropes, the adventurous hobbits, the hidden king, stubborn dwarf, a thuggish elf, merkin folks, loving it. What I loved is in this episode, they did something so nuanced and somber and sorrowful with the hobbits. They did a scene where they're like basically reading the names of people that fall behind, basically people they've lost on their journeys, and it's a powerful scene. Really well done. Yeah, I've always wanted to do what the fuck? I can't remember what I was saying. Oh, the Expendables, because I've never seen an Expendables movie. All right. We're doing things a little bit different. I'm experimenting with a slightly different format tonight. If you notice, we haven't done like pick of the week discussion or anything like that. Well, first of all, Cowboys are playing tonight. I want to keep the show tight, but you know how we do. Anyway, we're going right into the DC sneak peek. Slim pickings for me from DC this week. So I only read 4 DC books, but I'll give you my honest thoughts on them in a non-spoilery way. First of all, we have The Flash, the Fastest Man Alive, issue number 1 of 3. This is an extra-sized $5.99 comic that is set in the DCEU. So this is basically Ezra Miller Flash in that DC Cinematic Universe world. And and it works as an official movie tie-in, aka prequel. In this one, you see how he gets his new costume. In this one, you see him on the start of his journey to be a solo superhero. You see him fight off against one of his first villains, which is Girder. I'll go ahead and spoil that for you because it's not really that big of a deal. And you see some of his interactions with Batman, and of course, this is the Ben Affleck Batman. It's okay. The artwork by Ricardo Lopez Ortiz, yeah. Artwork's not going to be for everybody's taste, and when I first started reading it, I didn't like it, but I just kind of evened into it, and like he gets the idea of movement and energy, but it's still just, it's not done in like a refined, beautiful way or anything like that, so the artwork didn't really do much for me. Story was decent, but overall kind of tropey, and what I mean is just kind of doing the same thing that's been done over and over and over and over again, and I get what this is trying to be, but like, so if you're the person out there that's like, man, I cannot wait for this Flash movie. I love Ezra Miller as Flash. I want to see every little bit of detail I can about this world. Check this out. Otherwise, this is skippable from DC for most people this week. Then we've got Dark Crisis, Worlds Without a Justice League, Wonder Woman. So this is another one of those one-shots that's going to be, so the Justice League died, but in fact, they were actually taken by Pariah, put into these new realities that he created, and they were based on the desires and wishes of the individuals. Like Superman's in a world where he gets to see Jonathan grow up, right, and he doesn't like age up and stuff like that. Batman lives in a world where everything's a mystery, a very easy mystery that's solvable by logic alone and things like that, right? But in this one, Wonder Woman's living in a world where it doesn't seem ideal or dreamlike or whatever, and this one didn't really work for me. It was okay, I guess, but it didn't really do much for me. It's written by Teenie Howard, and I don't typically usually like a lot of her work. The artwork was okay. Coloring for Jordi Belair, the coloring was kind of drab for me, actually. It didn't really pop. It kind of all bled together. But the backup story in here is a Martian Manhunter story from Dan Waters. And who was the artist? The backup story by Martian Manhunter by Dan Waters and Brandon Peterson. I cannot believe that was Brandon Peterson. That was awesome. And in fact, it was my favorite story out of all of these Worlds Without a Justice League, which they're all skippable. But if anything, this book is skippable because of the Wonder Woman main story, but you at least deserve to like sit there at the shop when nobody's looking and just flip to the back and read this Martian Manhunter story because it's real short and it's awesome. That was good. Then we got Jurassic League, issue number 5, the penultimate issue of Jurassic League. It's solid. It's good. The heroes split and then have to form back together. So it's a very natural place for this story to be. And at the same time, it's doing something cool with the art. Juan Gideon is back here as the sole artist. It's not somebody else. So the artwork's a little cool. It's got some nice energy to it. And it's got some, I wouldn't say emotional moments because this book is about what if the DC characters were dinosaurs. Okay, so they're not trying too hard to like be nuanced or anything, but it's fun. And I want some action figures, so I liked it. And my favorite DC book I read this week was Batman vs. Robin. So this is another $5.99 comic. You can avoid this one. But if you're a DC fan, I think you might want to check this one out. If you're a Batman fan in particular, I don't think you want to sleep on this. So Mark Waid is the writer here. Mahmoud Asrar is the artist. Jordi Belair is the colorist. And her coloring here is much better than the coloring there for me. Though I remember the days when she colored books like Nowhere Men, and I just loved that shit. But Batman versus Robin, number 1. So there are elements of this book that like, they're not explained yet, so it's like that seems out of character, that seems out of nowhere, but there is a reveal at the end we'll see what's going to happen, but this is spinning out of events from Josh Williamson's Robin series and from Mark Waid's World's Finest series. So I wouldn't say that you had to have read those books to appreciate this story. You could jump right in. However, it will add weight to certain revelations if you are familiar with those runs. But I wouldn't say that they're necessarily essential for the enjoyment. This book was good. It pits Batman and Robin, Damian Robin, up against each other in a very interesting way. a very compelling way. Like I said, it's got some reveals, but it's got a big reveal very early on that a lot of people probably already know about, but I really liked it. And I thought this was a really solid book. All the Batman books pretty solid, right? Well, I forgot that there was like 20 fucking Batman books that I'm not reading. So I'll just say that Batman, Detective, and even Batman versus Robin, these are really good. So I liked it. So overall, I would say skip The Flash, The Fastest Man's Alive. I would say skip Dark Crisis, Wonder Woman, but read the Martian Manhunter story at the back. If you're liking Jurassic League, check it out. That book is fun. But if you buy one DC book this week, make sure it's Batman vs. Robin. That's a big deal. People will be talking about it, and I rather enjoyed it. So that has been your DC Sneak Peek. All right. Let's take a look at the comments real quick. Dun, 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 dun. Has anyone been reading Maestro Hulk? I read it. I think so. Peter David did that whole trilogy where he revisited that world, and he did Maestro, World War M, and War and Pax, I believe, were the three. I loved all three of them. I thought they were fun, consistent, and especially when Peralta was doing some of the artwork, it was really good stuff. Not the way I want Barry back. It is DC Minutes already. Nice to see Martian Manhunter getting some shine. Yeah, it's a different, because it's set in a different world, but it's good. Yeah, Ezra Miller does have some issues right now, and I guess Warner Brothers is hoping we all forget about it by next year. This book was originally supposed to come out in April, but the Flash movie was originally supposed to, I think, already be out by now, so we'll see. All of the tie-ins have been like that so far. Yeah, there's not a single tie-in that I think is essential so far, except for there is one coming up. Is it Dark Green or something like that? But it's one that's written by Ram V, Dan Waters, Alex Packnadell, and Josh Williamson. It involves some of the magic stuff, and there's some magic stuff that goes on in Batman vs. Robin that I really like too. But that one will be a little bit more essential, but not super essential, but still a little bit more actually tied into the story before you read Dark Crisis issue 5. And Dark Crisis issue 5, I believe, comes out the same day as that. I think it's called The Dark Green or something like that. Robbie, what do you think about the Flashpoint Beyond finally releasing the real Joker's name? It's a key issue, so I feel like it's picked it up. I don't think that they revealed the Joker's real name. They revealed the name of a Joker from a different reality set outside of even the multiverse. We're in hyper time, so I don't think it's as big of a deal as some people are leading people or themselves into believing. But if it's important to you and something you want to get, for sure. But I don't think it's as big of a deal. There have been plenty of times in comics, especially in other realities, where the Joker has had an actual name. In White Knight, they call him Jack Napier, just like in the 89 movie, for instance. So, I mean, we've seen this before. I don't think it's that super big of a deal, but if it's something that interests you for a DC fan, I think that's cool. I heard DC's going back to more live conventions, no more fandom. Yeah, that's what I heard too, and I think that's fine. And I know they skipped fandom this year because I don't think they really had much to add, because they're still, I mean, Black Adam still ain't out. You know what I'm saying? Their movies have been, they've been dealing with some issues. But yeah, definitely. Oh yeah, drinking a little bit of whiskey tonight. Yeah, and I don't really have a good like rocks glass, so I ordered like these crystal ones. They're coming. Should be cool, I hope. So. Oh, we've all did worse stuff than that. Evil face bad. I'm just kidding. Have we? I haven't. I don't think I have. Yeah, Future Imperfect is great, man. That stuff was great. But the three Maestro books that Peter David just did with, I think, Greg Land at first, then Herman Peralta came on. Del Keown, I think, did a bit here and there. They were like a trilogy of like a prequel to Future Imperfect. It works really, really well. Yeah, I would say that Ezra Miller is the definition of the word problematic right now. But anyway, So Cobra Kai's awesome. Rings of Power has responded to a lackluster first 2 episodes for me with a really strong episode 3, and Green Room has won the PCP Army movie poll. We're taking a quick break. When we come back, we got Marvel in the 90s, and we're going to be talking about John Carpenter's The Fog here on Pop Culture Philosophers, presenting Rockin Robbie Live.
Hey kid, don't ever let them get inside your head. They'll tell you what to do in life instead of everything you know that you could get. Don't let them guide your life towards regret. I'll fight for what I love with every breath. My past is filled with things I won't forget. I use them all to push me to my best. So treat the worst of times just like a test. If only I could go back in time, I'd tell myself that everything will end up alright. Just push yourself, test yourself, figure out what you like, and find your limits, don't be rigid, always work towards a prime. Surround yourself with open minds, people can change your life. A few friends with intent can help you feel alive. Find a passion, take some action, and with a little time, just be patient, make a statement, try to enjoy your life. They'll try to kick you while you're down. They wanna rise up while you drown. They wanna fill your head with doubt. They're silently scared that you'll figure it out. I'll make it look like I'm losing. Won't bother hiding my bruises. And when they finally think you're wounded, then it's your chance to be ruthless. Make some progress, I can see that they compare. I think everyone's against me, maybe something in the air. Am I paranoid? I swear a void is forming and they're scared. I walk a straight path, not many can say that. I like to play fast, cross me and there's payback. You better pray that I don't see your face at any place that I go. I know you hate that. I've been doing fine, I'm not wasting any more time. I live for the fight and the climb. And I think that the pain that's deep inside is what defines. So I won't give up, I'm gonna make it to the top. I don't care what's in my way, I swear I'm never gonna stop. I could fall flat on my face and I swear I won't get back up. Cause I don't deserve a thing and the road ahead is tough. They'll try to kick you while you're down. They wanna rise up while you drown. They wanna fill your head with doubt. They're silently scared that you'll figure it out. I'll make it look like I'm losing. Won't bother hiding my bruises. And when they finally think you're wounded, then it's your chance to be ruthless.
Everybody come join us here on The Experience this Monday, September 12th at 6 p.m. Eastern. Rex is going to be here. John's going to be here. Robbie, I'll pop in. Nick will pop in. We'll talk about our comics. We'll talk about the movies we're watching. We'll talk about TV. Maybe I can come in real quick and talk about how much I love She-Hulk. Oh my gosh, it's so much fun. I love Tatiana Maslany. She's my favorite. She's better than Meryl Streep. Yes, I said it. So if that's up for debate, then let's talk about it on Monday. So yes, Monday, September 12th. 6 p.m. Eastern, The Experience here on YouTube. Come check us out. Can't wait to see it.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Pop Culture Philosophers. In fact, welcome back to Rockin Robbie Live. I am your host, Rockin Robbie. How is everybody doing? We've already had a great show already tonight. We talked a little bit about Cobra Kai. We talked about Rings of Power. We talked about how Green Room won the PCP Army Horror Fest 2022 movie poll. And we did the DC sneak peek. Coming up on this show, we've got The Fog. We'll be talking about another John Carpenter film because we're going chronologically through his filmography. We'll be doing a Marvel in the 90s segment. We'll be doing the book report, top 5 movies in 2015, a little bit of show and tell, all that and more. Because this show is driven, fueled, if you will, by your questions, your thoughts, your comments, and your concerns. And if you're wondering why we are streaming early tonight, we are streaming at a special time because the Cowboys are playing tonight. If you're an NFL fan, throw out a station and a pop, pop, boom to your team. Did you win? Did you lose? The first week of the NFL season is here. It's the most wonderful time of the year. It's Horror Fest. Baseball's heating up towards its postseason. We got basketball on the horizon, and we got football back, y'all. It is fan-frickin-tastic. Anyway, I would say this. You should follow Pop Culture Philosophers on Facebook and on Instagram. If you're on Facebook, join the PCP Army, the official Pop Culture Philosophers Facebook group. You can find me on Twitter at @TheRockinRobbie, and you can find podcasts and more at PopCulturePhilosophers.com. If you want to help support the channel, you can do so with Super Chat, or you can do so at Patreon.com/PCP. Unlock exclusive content like a downloadable audio file containing the weekly comic book review available hours before it drops on YouTube. That is all available at Patreon.com/PCP. You can join these fine PCP patrons right there, but all we need for support is a like, a share, and a subscribe. So thank you all so much for being here, participating in the conversation. Coming up tomorrow night on the channel, join us for Deep Red as we continue Horror Fest 2022. This is a Dario Argento film from 1975. I'm very excited to have a chat about this one. Then we got She-Hulk Episode 5, spoiler talk. That's going to be Thursday night at 8 p.m. Central Time. We've been having a lot of fun, not necessarily watching She-Hulk, but talking about it. Then we got Dylan's Horror Show, continuing Horror Fest on Saturday night with Alice, Sweet Alice from 1976. And of course, join me tomorrow night over at The Experience. There is a link in the description below, as Amy was pointing out in the promo, because we got some great collectibles, some great comics, and some great conversations. That will be tomorrow night at 5 p.m. Central Time over at The Experience. And then right after that at 9 or 8 p.m. Central Time, 9 p.m. Eastern. Haha, I recovered. We'll be here for Horror Fest for Deep Red Profondo Rosso. So what's up? Anyone reading that new Spider-Man run? Is it worthwhile? Well, Trade Paper Dad, I will say it's inconsistent. There are certain issues I really like, some issues I don't. Some issues where I think Ramita's shining, other issues where I think it's rushed, and I do have an issue with the coloring throughout the run. But overall, it's inconsistent. So it's a mixed bag for me. She probably could kick your ass. She probably kick mine too. So I gotta be careful when I start shitting on She-Hulk tomorrow night. Sinners in the house, what is up? Oh, I didn't see the Dale Keown falling asleep thing, but I did hear about it, and I saw some screen caps from it. So, yeah, Dale Keown did a YouTube stream. I think it was his first one. Fell asleep for like 4 hours. Was just like, people were like, "Fucking, is he dead?" Like, I'm glad he's okay. But yeah, that's funny. But yeah, I heard he was really drunk too. I feel like I've been pretty tipsy on some of these streams, you know, and never fallen asleep. So there's that. What do I think about the second Black Adam trailer? I feel like that movie doesn't know what it wants to be. Does it want to be Black Adam's the bad guy, the Justice Society has to go against him, but maybe there's a redemption arc there? Or does it want to be, this guy's a badass fucking superhero, he's like Superman, but he kills people? Like, it wants to kind of be both, and we'll see how it handles itself. So far, none of the trailers have wowed me. But I am rather excited to see this movie because The Rock is very charismatic. In fact, I think he's one of the most electrifying entertainers in entertainment. Road collecting in the house. Totally forgot about the earlier time this week. That's all right. I could have done a better job of making sure everybody knew about it, so I'm sorry. I depend too much on YouTube's notifications and the algorithm when we all know that they don't always work in our favor. But that's always good to know that the people that are actually here all the time are dedicated PCP Army, PCP crew. Excitable we are. Boom, boom, boom. Pop, pop. Boom, 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 pop, pop. That's not how it works, man. Do you have faith that the new creative team on Iron Man will do well? I haven't really liked Dugan's X-Men. Is he on Iron Man now? I don't know what the new Iron Man team is. So it's Jerry Duggan and who? Raphael says, don't forget to hit that like, and I appreciate that. Angry Fist says, I've been following Dylan's horror show for a long time, but just now subbed to you, Robbie. Well, station, Angry Fist. I hope you enjoy it, and be sure to join us tomorrow night for Horror Fest for Deep Red. Really pumped. Evil Face Bad says, I'm fucked up right now. But you do got some good sense. Drop Spidey, dude. Batman's waiting. I'll tell you this. Flagship books, maybe we could argue about what we think they should be, but the flagship books are Amazing Spider-Man and Batman. Batman's in a stronger place right now than Spidey. Spidey's good, but it's inconsistent. Batman, 3 issues into Zdarsky's run? I'm pumped. 2 issues into Ron V's detective run? Sold. Beyond sold. Sword of Azrael's doing good, and that's not even really a proper Batman book, but it's great. Angry Fist says, I just finished The Crimson Cage, and tonight I will finish Twig. Twig has a really solid ending, and I love Crimson Cage. I love that book. Sinner says he definitely should be playing Black Adam. He should have played another character. Evil Face Bass says if The Rock wasn't Black Adam, what other hero do you think he could play or villain? If he wasn't playing Black Adam, honestly, I think Black Adam's a good role for The Rock. But outside of that, I thought he would have been fine as Shazam, to be honest. So, Juan for Gary. I'm not familiar, I guess, with the name, so we'll see. I haven't really been liking Duggan's X-Men work either, but he has done solid work in the past, so we'll see what happens. It's a wait-and-see thing, I'll say. Yes, Jorm, you don't need a new number 1 to have a good start for a new run and a good, clean start. What's that? He was fine for him. He should have added more visual cues to the role. It would have went a long way. Does he have the pointy ears? I don't even notice. I don't think they gave him pointy ears. Think any of this new Black Adam run is going to tie into the movie? No, I don't think so. I think they've got the book out so that they can have something on the shelves for synergy when the movie comes out. But if you're looking for connections, I think you'll find them more in the Justice Society Files one-shots that they've been doing, which have been, I don't know, I didn't read the Atom Smasher one. I kind of quit reading those. The Hawkman one kind of was boring, and the Cyclone one was better. But I didn't read the Atom Smasher one. I guess we got a Dr. Fate one coming out. If anybody read those, let me know what you think. Please. Please do. What company books do you enjoy reading the most? DC, Marvel, or independent books like Image, Dark Horse, and so on? I definitely get more of a boost and a kick out of, I would say, in general, indie comics. Right now, I would say if I had to pick a company that has a wider variety of books I enjoy, it's the same as it's been for a couple years now. It's Image. I think Image still just does some really good stuff because Image allows creators to publish their own work. So I think you get some good stuff out of Image. So right now, I would say Image is the strongest publisher as a whole. But right now, my favorite book is coming from Scout Comics. My favorite superhero title is coming from DC stuff. So yeah, there's I would say Image overall. I like the indie stuff better. I think Boom's kind of faltered a little bit. Vault's not quite what they used to be as far as consistency line-wide. As a line expands, though, that's due to happen. And I don't read or enjoy every Image book, but the vast majority of the books I read wind up being Image books as far as just focusing in on quality from a certain publisher. But I think Scout's doing some really good stuff lately. Vault still does good stuff. Boom still does good stuff. But right now, it's Image where I'm getting really good bang for my buck. But my favorite book right now is Agent of World. 2 issues are out of that. There is a third coming. I have read that one. I haven't read the 4th one. And that one right now is one of my favorite books. Dark Horse is kind of a mixed bag. I'm loving Shaolin Cowboy. That's one of my favorite books of the year. But when I look at my list of reading week to week, it is the Image books that give me the most joy overall. So I'll say that. What about y'all? I'm curious to know what y'all think. Nova69 says, I enjoy Image the most out of all the companies. B Black says, same. I enjoy most of all of the companies. Angry Fist says, for me lately it's been Image, Aftershock, AWA, and some DC Marvel for good measure. Evil Face Bad says, I like some titles from IDW, Vault and Image, Little Red Ronin, Chip Wallace, SPP, Source Point Press. Is that what you're talking about? I forgot to read the new Death Ranger, but I did get it. All right. I thought that was all right, but it's an interesting idea for a new character. Behemoth does have some good fun stuff. They're changing their names to like Sumerian, I believe. They got bought by another company, but they are doing some good stuff. Heavy Metal Drummer's been pretty fun from them. I just picked up Broken Bear and Yasmin from Scout. I'm looking forward to them. I liked Yasmin. I never read Broken Bear, though. I love Yojimbo, and his book is published by IDW. Dark Horse is a good one, too. Robbie, did you hear that Yojimbo will be going back to Dark Horse now? Yes. Not only that, they're giving Stan his own imprint, and he's going to be publishing other books as well. Angry Fist says, Image for the win. Kit Wallace. Okay, there you go. I'm sorry, but I'm really loving Marvel right now. DC a little, and Boom Studios has some hidden bangers. Be Black, don't ever be sorry for enjoying what you're enjoying. I'm enjoying DC. I think I am enjoying a lot from DC. I'm not enjoying as much from Marvel, but that's just me. There are things I enjoy from Marvel, but for the most part, I don't look forward to many that I'm reading. But the DC's got some cool stuff, and Boom's got some good stuff still. I think Once in Future needed to go longer, and I think they shortened it, and we had a couple issues where the whole pacing got wonky. And in this last issue, it was like it settled itself down, and I think it delivered the true penultimate issue that Gillen was gearing to. I just think they had to, for 3 issues or so, kind of scrub some plans and put a bunch of shit in. So Boom is still doing interesting stuff. All the publishers are publishing some good stuff. I don't agree with this idea that this company sucks and this company is great. This company's got some good books, but that same company has some bad ones. And that's true with every company. And it's all subjective and how we feel and all that kind of stuff, right? So, but right now with Marvel, I see Sinner saying Punisher, Daredevil, Axe, and the new Spider-Man are definitely on my read list. I am enjoying Spider-Man. It's a bit inconsistent for me, but I am enjoying it. I am not enjoying the X-Men stuff. Moon Knight's starting to lose me. I do like Zdarsky's Daredevil. I thought his issue 2 was pretty solid. Issue 1 didn't work as an issue number 1, but his run as a whole has been solid. I think Kate's stuff has still been fun, especially, Hulk is stupid, but it's kind of fun to me, and Thor's kind of fun. Venom is... I'm off and on Venom, and same with Carnage. It's I like Rom V, but there's expectations of what I believe a Venom and Carnage story should be, and they don't quite vibe with that, but, that's cool. Much respect. And Punisher might be my favorite Marvel book right now. I'm enjoying the hell out of Punisher. Oh, another thing about the D23 Expo, Thunderbolts. The Thunderbolts lineup was announced, and I'm like, what a snooze fest. Are you kidding me? Ghost, cool. Right? Elaine Bennis as the Contessa, that's cool. Huey Lewis Dreyfus, I get it. But that's cool. Red Guardian, okay. Yelena, we're expecting that. That's cool. That's cool. U.S. Agent, yes, yes, yes. Winter Soldier, okay. Okay. Taskmaster. Did anybody want Taskmaster to come back? Like MCU Taskmaster? Okay. Okay. Hold on a second. Hold on. Red Guardian, Winter Soldier, U.S. Agent, Taskmaster. They're all the same fucking character. They're all like rip-offs of Captain America. Can we get some variety? I know that y'all don't really save a lot of your good villains, Marvel. I understand this. Like, I'm not expecting much. But, like, you add in the fact that Yelena kind of does the same shit they do, just without a shield. Is Ghost the only person on this fucking team who has any kind of other ability aside from just being a Captain America clone? Like, I mean, do y'all get what I'm saying? Like, Steph was the one that first pointed out to me on the She-Hulk back chat, but like, or on Horror Fest last night for Dylan's Horror Show. Like, Red Guardian, Winter Soldier, U.S. Agent, Taskmaster. 4 fucking people that fight like Captain America with shields. You take away the shield, Black Widow. What? You could do. I mean, I want Zemo. I think Zemo and Hawkeye should be in a Thunderbolts movie. That's just me personally, but that's my attachment to the original Thunderbolts stuff with Busiek and Nicieza and Bagley and Zurcher and all that. I think those two are essential. I would have taken out Winter Soldier, put in Hawkeye. I would have taken out Taskmaster. I would have Abomination in there. I would have Zemo in there. This is like, there's no variety in that Thunderbolts team, and it's snooze fest to me. What do y'all think about the Thunderbolts reveal? What do y'all think? Joram, I'm right there with you. Frank Miller Presents is really enticing to me because I saw Dan DiDio was on one of Miss Jen's shows before we went live on an EXP show on a Monday, and he was talking about how the colorists that work for them are having to relearn how to color the correct way because they had to unlearn that to get gigs in comics over the last few years, and they went out of their way to find the best paper that was close to newsprint, but not as shitty as newsprint can be. So I'm really, really excited to see what they do. Yeah, Catwoman Lonely City has been pretty good. I'm excited for that. It is fun, as Angry Fist says, to parse through it all and select only the best things for your taste and budget. I agree. New Jeff Lemire with this week. What new Jeff Lemire? I haven't even looked at a list. Robbie, you going to read the new Star Trek coming out in October? It's got Data, Cisco, Beverly Crusher. I believe it's supposed to take place at the same time Voyager was lost. Yeah, I'm going to read it. What I was getting the vibe from, especially from the Star Trek 400, was that it seems like it's kind of like Avengers Forever, but for Star Trek. Like they're pulling different characters from different places or something. I'll read it, but not for too long, probably. I don't know. We'll see. I liked Lansing and Kelly were the head writers, if you will, of Star Trek Year 5. And overall, I liked it, but reading it month to month in a stack of other comics, it would get lost in the shuffle very quickly. So the Star Trek books aren't something that I enjoy reading as they go, along with every other weekly book. I enjoy reading those things separately collected after the fact. Yeah, oops, all super soldiers, says the Dairy. I mean, right? Like, are you fucking kidding me? They're all the same fucking character. I mean, okay, wait. Red Guardian's the funny one. I get it. Winter Soldier's the emo one. U.S. Agent's going to be the angry one. And Taskmaster's going to be the mysterious one. I get it. But, like, they're all the same fucking character. Jesus. Just when I thought, I think they're going to get Secret Wars to Kang Dynasty. We'll see. I mean, I'm not writing it off. I'm not that guy. You know, I'm not doom and gloom. I'm just still like, can we get some variety in this fucking lineup? Can we do some excitement, man? Come on. No, I get what you're saying, B Black. He says everyone's saying no Zemo, but I think he's just not on the poster. Like a secret character, unfortunately, no Red. Yeah, I get that. There may be that there. But just as an announcement, like, I feel like they thought this was it. This was like when they show this lineup for Thunderbolts, people will lose their shit. And we're all like, cool. All right, who's playing Fantastic Four, bro? Oh, that's it. Nah, there's a post-credits to this. They're talking about Avatar now. Why are they talking about Avatar? Anyway. But yeah, we'll see what happens. Trey Paper Dad says, I'm split between Image and Marvel on my reading list. Punisher, Thor, Black Panther, Miles Morales, Time Before Time, Department of Truth, that's one of my favorite books, Silver Coin, and Undiscovered Country. Rogue Collecting says, Abomination would have been good. Tim Roth is so good. He's been really good in She-Hulk. He's my second favorite character on She-Hulk, right behind Wong. Because Wong is hilarious on She-Hulk. Madison's creeping up, though. She's hit top 5 now. B Black says, I think because the Thunderbolts team's going to be more secret ops, they might switch up what each one does. All right. They may also have hidden members, you know, like a public face team, and then like nobody knows Abomination's working for him, or Baron Zemo or some shit like that, right? You just have a lot of the same type of characters. They're all Captain America avatars. Like they're all just they're all just Captain America clones. That has the potential to be rather fucking boring. But I know what they're going to do. They're going to hear all this chatter. They're going to add in this fucking scene where that gets mentioned. It's going to have a meta moment where they mention that they're all just Captain America ripoffs. And they're going to have like a chuckle about it. We should have called it the Captain America Rejects. And then like Red Guardian's going to say, well, they did finish me, comrade, or some shit. Why did my Russian accent sound like it was Sean Connery trying to do a Russian accent? What was up with that? I can only do a Russian accent saying $50. I don't know. $50. That's all I got. That's all I got, man. Nomad was good in Born Again. Nomad in Born Again? What do you mean, Nuke? Are we talking about Nuke? Angry Fist says, Punisher, Ghost Rider, Wolverine, Son of Satan, and Doctor Strange, being some Marvel books. It's week 1, y'all. Just chill. What are we talking? Week 1 on what? What are we talking about? Week 1 on what? Oh, is the new Boneyard Mythos book come out this week? Well, shit. Hold on. Let me do something real quick. Delivery update. Man. My packages were supposed to be here today, and they say I had to pull up my email. Now I'm pissed. And they're delayed. God, it's fine. Let's see here. Ooh, Above Snakes is out this week. Yes, Black Orchard or Bone Orchard Black Feathers #1. Do a Powerbomb 4. Kingspawn 14. They're doing The Last Shadowhawk in 3D. Least we can do #1. Love Everlasting. I don't think I'm going to read Love Everlasting #2. Righteous Thirst for Vengeance. I thought that was over. Seven Sons. Silver Coin. This is a good week for Image. Man, there's some good books from Image this week. Hell yeah. You take away the shield, you got Daredevil. Jorm says, I caught the EXP interview. It was fun. I didn't see it, but Hawkeye is boring. See, I think Hawkeye should be in the Thunderbolts because I'm a fan of the Busiek and Nicieza run, and Hawkeye eventually came on and kind of became their leader after Zemo. Like, the whole thing on Thunderbolts is that, and we know what this is going to be, it's their Suicide Squad, and I've heard people on YouTube say, Thunderbolts is Marvel's answer to Suicide Squad. No, it's fucking not. It's become that, but that's really not what it was. Thunderbolts was a team of villains pretending to be heroes at a moment of loss when the public thought they had lost the Fantastic Four and the Avengers, they come in acting like new heroes, and it's all a plan that they're pretending to be heroes, right? However, when it gets outed that they're villains, Zemo and a few others are still crazy-ass villains, but all of them kind of like, I liked being a hero. It was more rewarding being a good person. So it becomes, after 12 issues, and even in those 12 issues, because that's all the setup for this, Thunderbolts is not Marvel's Suicide Squad. Thunderbolts is Marvel telling a story about villains who learn to be better people and learn that they want to be heroes. Not that they're forced to by their government. It is like, even after they're all found out, they're like, they still are like, fuck it. Everybody's after us, but we're going to be fugitives, but we're still going to be heroes. We're still going to do the right thing. And that, to me, is an incredibly bold move for a comic. That entire series in its initial run by Busiek, and then he unfortunately had to leave, and Fabian Nicieza came in, but Mark Bagley stuck around, and Patch Zercher came on. That initial run is just so fucking good, filled with comic book melodrama, soap operatic in a nature, but really good, solid comic book storytelling. Superhero storytelling in particular. Trade Paper Dad says, Thunderbolts looks like Black Widow Part 2 and Captain America wannabes. Well, drop down in the comments. Let's see. I'm fine with Thunderbolts to see some possibilities as a Black Ops team of super soldiers dispersed to tackle different segments of the MCU. But that kind of tracks. Thunderbolt Ross was obsessed with replicating the super soldier serum. Yeah, and they're probably going to say they're named after Thunderbolt Ross. So there's that. I did see the Secret Invasion trailer. I thought it looked cool. Nova69 says Department of Truth has been at the top of the list ever since it came out. I agree. I hope they differentiate Thunderbolts from Suicide Squad. I agree. We'll see, though. But that's why, like, Abomination would work. Zemo was never part of the wanting to be a hero, so that wouldn't work. But I don't know. The problem is you don't have any of these other characters. Like, as a hardcore OG Thunderbolts fan, I want Songbird. I want Ape. I want Mach 5. I want Moonstone. Like, those haven't been set up. They could be setting some of this shit up in, like, She-Hulk, but they're not. They could be, but they're not, so. Bagley has been consistent in his entire career, basically. Still haven't seen Suicide Squad or The Emancipation of Harley Quinn. Birds of Prey? I actually liked Birds of Prey. I know a lot of people didn't. That's fine. I liked Birds of Prey. Suicide Squad I didn't like as much as other people, but I did enjoy it. But Peacemaker I fucking love. I love the hell out of Peacemaker. I still haven't seen Ryan Reynolds' Green Lantern, but I've seen that movie way too many times. I own it. I own it on 3D Blu-ray. I don't know why, but I do. B says, recent She-Hulk was the funniest so far. Wong storming off to get his lawyer after having his show spoiled was like a Harvey Birdman episode intro. You just need Jennifer saying, I'll take the case. Yeah, I thought it was the best one too. The Wong and Madison stuff was my favorite. That shit was hilarious to me. And I love that Wong's just sitting there drinking tea, eating like fucking cookies or some shit, watching The Sopranos and getting it spoiled. That shit's funny. And I love the magic shit when they're in the courtroom. Like fucking, oh, magic's real. So is this real? It's so stupid. I love it. All right, y'all. The Thunderbolts became more like the Suicide Squad when Warren Ellis takes over for those 12 issues. That's when it kind of shifted. I do like that Warren Ellis run because but it was, you're right, it does kind of lean more into that, but it was kind of tied in with the whole Dark Reign, Secret Invasion kind of shit, right? So like you had Like, I'm a big Norman fan, and I love the breakdown of Norman in that. Plus, that was all set up for Dark Avengers and stuff, or eventually what became Dark Avengers. So that's not the route they're going here either. So we'll see what happens. We'll see. All right, y'all. We've been going through the John Carpenter movies chronologically. We've watched Dark Star. We've watched Assault on Precinct 13. We watched Someone's Watching Me, which was a television movie. Then we did Halloween. And then last week we talked about Elvis, which was the first movie he did with Kurt Russell. And tonight we're doing his next movie from 1980, The Fog. So The Fog came out in 1980. It was a theatrical follow-up to a massive hit, which was Halloween. John Carpenter was like the talk of the town. He got a 2-picture deal, and those 2 pictures became The Fog and Escape from New York. But The Fog was first. This was produced by Deborah Hill and written by John Carpenter and Deborah Hill, I believe. If I remember that right, it stars Adrienne Barbeau, who was also in Someone's Watching Me, Jamie Lee Curtis, who was also in Halloween, Tom Atkins, making his first appearance in a John Carpenter film, and plenty of other fantastic performances. Let's get into this movie. I love The Fog, and every time I watch this movie, I appreciate it more and more. Now, at the time, John Carpenter didn't like this film. In fact, when he first put it together, it was like a 70-minute movie, so they had to go in and add some things. They added some more kind of gory kills. They added some more tension-filled moments, right? But to me, this movie's perfection. Now, when I first watched this movie, I didn't like it that much, and each time I have watched it, and we covered this on Dylan's Horror Show last year, and I think I said the same thing. Each time I watch it, I appreciate it more and more. That holds true in this viewing. Adrienne Barbeau had just recently married John Carpenter at this time. He had just recently separated from Deborah Hill. So apparently there was some weirdness on set, if you will. And Adrienne Barbeau in this film is absolutely amazing. Now, this is her first movie role. Like, she's in Someone's Watching Me, which was the Carpenter TV movie that we covered a little bit ago. But she's amazing in this. She doesn't have the benefit of acting with anybody in this movie. There are just a couple of early scenes with her and her kid. Everything else is her alone at this lighthouse radio station, and she carries the fucking movie. I've heard this movie be criticized, saying that it doesn't have a core character thread. No, the core character thread is Adrienne Barbeau's Stevie in this movie. Tom Atkins, I love him in everything he's in. I love him in this movie. He's like a fisherman, just an everyday blue-collar worker who, his friends are the first 3 victims of the zombie ghosts that come from this fog on this night. He meets Jamie Lee Curtis. They bet each other that night. And she kind of spends the rest of the movie along his side trying to investigate this thing. Jamie Lee Curtis is kind of underutilized in the movie, but her mother, Janet Leigh, is in the movie. She's utilized fantastically. Janet Leigh, of course, we know from Psycho. I think her performance is really fun. She's like this community organizer, organizing this thing to celebrate the 100th anniversary of this town. But the priest, played by Hal Holbrook, has uncovered a secret of this town, and now this secret is come back to bite the town in the ass. Basically, 100 years ago, there was a leper colony wanting to settle near this township, and they didn't want the leper colony there, and the main guy on this leper colony was a rich dude, and they wound up casting a false light to lead them into dangerous rocky waters to destroy the ship. They kill everybody on board. They go and steal the gold for the town to become a full-fledged city or township or whatever. And now 100 years later, they're back. And all of the cast have their roles, but I do think it all comes together. And amazingly enough, Adrienne Barbeau, who's not ever on screen with any of these other people, is actually able to feel like a part of this movie. The movie is shot brilliantly. I think it is gorgeous. It is beautiful. The way that they show the fog, and apparently it was very problematic for them on set. trying to get all this giant billows of fog so that it would film and to get it lit properly and not just have it get blown away by the wind. So to see these scenes be atmospheric and actually work, it actually blows me away. The more and more I learn about this movie, the more and more I watch this movie, the more and more I appreciate it. Yes, are you weird? I absolutely love that bit. Yes, I am. He doesn't even hide it. But it has some good tension. It's a good, classic, solid ghost story in the vein of something like Tales from the Crypt. Some people have said maybe it would work better as a shorter film, but I think it works exactly as it is. It is a very supremely tight hour and a half right on the dot. I love the ending where they find the rest of the gold's been made into a cross and the Reverend's going to give himself up because 6 conspirators led to the death of this ship. So they have to come back and kill 6 people, but they think they defeat it. And then that perfect ending where no, just when you think that everything is fine and safe, the villain comes back for one last stab and gets their 6th victim, which is the priest. The music by John Carpenter, I think it's one of his best. It's tough to say what John Carpenter score I think is the best, but The Fog really works for me. That whole do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do. It is absolutely amazing. It has one of the most impeccably crafted and paced first acts I have ever seen in a horror film, especially of this time. It's like 27 minutes showing 1 hour, the initial midnight hour where it all happened. Man, this movie it's fantastic. I love it more and more each time. I'm giving it 5. Ya digs. What do you give The Fog? Let us know. Out of 5, you digs, what do you rate this movie? Let's continue this conversation. Every time I watch it, I love it more and more and more. It is atmospheric. The pace, the tension, the tone, the music. Oh my God. Like, I think it's the best first act of a horror movie. Like, it's so tight. It's so freaking tight. Just that first hour, the attack on the ship, her kind of, Adrienne Barbeau's character, like her last hour on air corresponding with the ship. You're getting introduced to the threat. You're getting introduced to the town, to the history of the town, to the characters in the town, all in this hour when everything's going, and all of that's just like added in. Like, they had basically an hour movie and he had to add a bunch of shit into it and apparently redid the score. So there's another score. Maybe it's part of Lost Themes or something, but there's another score for this movie. So for me, a movie that when I first watched it, I was like, 3, it's okay, but it ain't Halloween. It ain't Big Trouble. It ain't The Thing. It's become, to me, one of my most appreciated John Carpenter films. I love it. I'm curious to know what y'all think. And next week we're doing Escape from New York, y'all, and I know you've been waiting for that. I haven't seen that movie in over 5 years, so I'm really excited to revisit it. All right, Fable says, Fog gets better every time. Caliburg says, way better than its brother, The Mist. I love The Mist, but it is a different movie, and I would say that The Fog is better, but I do love The Mist, especially the black and white version. Men of Class and Taste Unite for Adrienne Barbeau's. Okay. Empire Comics in the house. Station, my man. The lesser-known prequel, The Haze. How about The Drizzle? One question, are you weird? Yeah. Love it. Dairy Bandit says, this was a fun watch. Loved the soundtrack. Angry Fist says, great atmosphere in this film. Fable says, great cinematography. Hell yeah. What's his name? God, it's the guy who did Halloween. I want to say he did Elvis. He did all of those early ones. Derek Lundy or something, I want to say. Let me look. Dean Cundy. There we go. One of Carpenter's hallmarks. The man has some great compositions, I agree. Visually and, musically. Man, Robbie's saying leper colony, but I keep hearing leprechaun-y. Was so confused. Yeah, it's so leprechaun-y. I'm the leprechaun. I wish I had a flashlight so I could be like Garth in the Wayne's World bit. You're like, I'm the leprechaun. Anybody remember that? The name changes, says 3.5 he digs for The Fog if you could compare it to his other works. I can dig on that, but I mean, the more I used to be so dismissive, and 3.5 I don't think is dismissive, but I used to be incredibly dismissive of this movie, and every time I watch it, I like it more and more and more. Billy's in the house, says Escape from New York is now considered a documentary, from what I hear. Okay. I can't even remember most 90s scary movies I've seen. Well, Scream kind of wins the cake there, but there's some good stuff in the 90s, but not as much or as many or as good as the 80s, we might say. All right, so I got the Scream Factory edition here. It's got some extra features. I haven't actually watched any of these extra features. So this one, and they just released a 4K of this, but this one had a new transfer at the time, but supervised by the cinematographer. Commentary by John Carpenter and Deborah Hill. Commentary with Adrienne Barbeau, Tom Atkins, and Tommy Lee Wallace. A new interview with Jamie Lee Curtis. A featurette, Tales from the Mist Inside the Fog. Fear on Film, Inside the Fog featurette. The Fog storyboard to film featurette. Horror's Hallowed Grounds, a new look at the film's locations, outtakes, trailers, TV spots, photo gallery, all that stuff. 2005 remake blows ass, so don't watch that. What if John Carpenter had directed a Leprechaun movie? That would be the best Leprechaun movie we've ever gotten. Outside of Leprechaun in the Hood. Come on. So there you go. All right, y'all. We've been so fixated on Image for the last several weeks, several months, one might say. It's going to be refreshing to kind of go back to how we all started. And it's time for one of our favorite bits here. It's time for Marvel in the 90s. And tonight we're talking about Death by Tombstone, a 3-part Spider-Man story written by Stephen Grant. Oh, Stephen Grant, you know, it's me, you mate. I'm Moon Knight and Mr. Knight. Anyway, Stephen Grant, not Moon Knight, but Stephen Grant, with artwork by Sal Buscema, lettering by Joe Rosen, coloring by Ben Sharon. And I'm excited to get into this. So, because Sal Buscema was an artist I didn't really like that much as a kid. This is Spectacular Spider-Man's immediate follow-up to Maximum Carnage. I was so into Maximum Carnage at the time that I continued following these Spider-Man books for a while. And I vividly remember this Tombstone story, and I vividly remember loving it. And I was going through some comics the other day at work, and these books were in it, and I was like, let me go dig out my old issues. Let's reread this. Let's dig into some Sal Buscema artwork and revisit the first time I ever learned who Tombstone was. So Tombstone shows up, and he's bigger and badder than ever. Now, I have very limited experience with this character before. This was the first time I'd ever seen Tombstone in a comic, so I didn't know much about him, but I feel like at this point something had happened and he leveled up, or at least that's the idea. Stephen Grant's being recognized as the new writer of the book, a new direction, a new series. Sal Buscema, though, still doing the artwork. When he did the artwork on the Maximum Carnage issues, I didn't like it. The more and more I revisit his work, the more and more I love it. He is the inker on here. Of course, he's famous for being an inker, a fantastic inker, but I love his stuff. I really, really do. I didn't like it when I was a kid, but it started winning me over. This time, really fascinated with his line markings. All right. So Tombstone shows up to Hammerhead's office. And he's like, yo, I'm new and improved. I got unbreakable skin. You can't do nothing to me, and I'm going to take you out. So Hammerhead tries to put him in his place. Dude, he gets murked by Tombstone. He breaks his leg. He breaks his wrist. He's like, I'm the new boss now, and he takes over Hammerhead's operation in a very quick and efficient way. Then we cut to the reading of Harry Osborn's will. Right before Maximum Carnage started in Spectacular Spider-Man 200, Harry Osborn had died. And this is the reading of the will. They're playing a videotape. Harry Osborn's there. He gives his money and his company to his wife and his kid. He gives Peter Parker a box, but he has to put on the Green Goblin costume before he does it. And there's just a lot of drama going on. And I remember this from when I was a kid for months and months and months. they just lingered on this like death of Harry Osborn and how much it was fucking Peter in the head and all that kind of stuff. And I don't know, man, it's melodramatic, but I like it. So Spider-Man swinging around. He's got this thing. It's supposed to open on its own at some point, but he forces it open. It's a sign that says, gotcha. This convinces him that Harry Osborn is in fact still alive. Now, in reality, Harry Osborn was alive. He was whisked away to where his father, who was also alive, was in Europe to heal, to come back later on. But at the time, the intention was that he was actually dead. This is him just fucking with his head. Then we cut to Tombstone. So Tombstone now is not... So he's taken over Hammerhead's operation, but he still has to get the council of the mafia or whatever to approve him to have a seat at the table. This dude shows up and is like, yeah, we're not going to accept you. And Tombstone just is not having that. So he's starting to devise this plan of how to make them take him a little bit more seriously. Then we cut to Liz Osborn, grieving widow. Spider-Man shows up and starts being like, your husband's still alive and he's fucking with me, and like just totally distressing her. Mary Jane shows up. It's like, this woman's in grief. What are you doing? Like, there's a lot of like heavy melodrama going on in Spider-Man at this time. And it started in the late 80s. It's continuing on here, but I don't know. When I was a kid, I thought it was fun. It was compelling. Meanwhile, the dude that didn't approve Tombstone to be part of this quiet council of the mafia, he runs a club. Tombstone shows up with his goons, and he's going to take out this club. And shit starts going down, yo. You get all kinds of action and violence. Sal Buscema does such a great job of just telling this story, doing things by the book, doing it traditionally, but at the same time doing little flourishes here and there. Simple line work, but it's deceptively simple. This dude had years of comic book experience under his belt, and of course, a powerhouse family along with his brother John. A really great thing. Spider-Man sees the explosion. It's a big distraction. It's what he needs. So he's going to go and figure out what's going on. Meanwhile, he's trying to save all these people that are in this apartment building. He's got people throwing shit on him. What I loved about this too was, especially in the revisit, even though there's all this melodramatic, heavy shit happening, Spider-Man, when he's Spider-Man saving people, he's still quippy. He's still fun. He's still doing all that stuff. So Tombstone, in the midst of all this rubble, is trying to get away, finds these paramedics, gets stopped by this dude Flash Thompson. Oh, we know Flash Thompson. That's Peter's friend. And we get a cliffhanger with him about to take on Flash Thompson. Then we move into issue 205, where he's about to fight Flash Thompson. We get another bugle photographer taking some shots of Spider-Man. That sets up a backup story that is going to be revealed here. Every shot of Spider-Man here, just great, so graceful. Sal Buscema it just looks so unfair how simple it seems like this is to him. He makes it look so incredibly easy. Flash Thompson's about to get got by Tombstone, but Spider-Man shows up just in the nick of time to scare Tombstone off and take Flash to the hospital. He then goes and finds Mary Jane. She realizes that he's in distress, so she cooks him some breakfast, and he starts talking about all of his problems, and then Felicia Hardy comes in, Black Cat. At this time, Felicia is dating Flash Thompson, and she's like, bro, you didn't even tell me that my boyfriend was attacked by Tombstone? Like, I found out, like, not from you. So she's, like, super mad. She's like, you don't even know me anymore. You're Spider-Man. I'm Black Cat to you. I'm no longer Felicia. So, like, she's super mad and all that stuff. Mary Jane realizes, oh, I thought she was just dating Flash to be close to you, but she actually loves this dude. Peter's got a really wide collar on that shirt. By the way, I guess this is 1993, so it makes sense. Liz shows up and says, yo, we're selling all of Harry's stuff. We're just taking the money. We're going to Montana. We sold this building. Y'all got to leave in 30 days. Sorry. Deuces. Got to find your own place. Meanwhile, Tombstone goes back to the place to talk to this council. They're like, yo, you can't attack. You can't. We took your offer into consideration. We said we don't accept you. You got to earn your dues here. You can't just go in and terrorize someone's club and expect us we're gonna listen to you. You can't manipulate the mafia council by force. Well, that's exactly what Tombstone's trying to do. And they wind up working out a deal. They're like, tell you what, you kill Spider-Man, We'll let you have a seat at the table. So he decides he's going to go off and do that. Meanwhile, this dude's brought in some pictures of Spider-Man. He's ripping open this window because he's saving this little girl, but it looks like he's causing property damage. And so J. Jonah Jameson's going to run the story. Peter's like incensed by that. So he leaves before he punches the dude out. So you get a little bit of a quick bugle scene right there. And then Black Cat goes after Tombstone and his people. So she's fighting him, and Spider-Man shows up. Now, Spider-Man had put a tracker on her, knowing that she was going to go after Tombstone. I think that actually happens in this scene. I don't think it's happened yet. But he shows up. Black Cat's starting to get her ass kicked by Tombstone, but Spider-Man's there to help her out, kind of save the day a little bit. But Tombstone starts getting the upper hand. His dude's got some firepower, and they're able to actually put the handle on Spider-Man. There's a really cool moment here where him and Spider-Man fly out of this building. Tombstone's like, yo, I'm going to survive this. They fall into the bay or whatever. Black Cat's knocked out. You think Spider-Man's coming up, but it's actually Tombstone. And, dude, he just killed Spider-Man. Dun, dun, dun. Maybe not, right? Anyway, so then we got this little backup story called Taps, and J. Jonah Jameson centric, and it's this dude that took the picture, and it's kind of silly. It doesn't really do much, but we'll get to this. But he's trying to like use this picture to put Spider-Man in a bad light again, and he goes and takes everybody out to this cheap dinner, and the waitress tells him that everybody thinks the bugle's a joke, and it kind of pisses him off, and he like loses it, and then he goes out, and then his wife calls Joe Robertson and is like, Robbie, he's not here, and he's not shown up. So anyway, then we move to the next issue. This is the conclusion of Death by Tombstone. So we got Tombstone thinking himself is victorious. And so he's like, I'm going to take this mask, and I'm going to prove that I killed Spider-Man, and I'm going to have my seat at the table, and I'm a crime lord now. And then Black Cat wakes up, and she fights him a little bit. She gets a little bit of licks in, but then she goes and dives after Spider-Man. Tombstone then makes his escape. Spider-Man is there. He was knocked out, but he does wake up and winds up saving Black Cat, who was there to save him. He tells her, stay out of this. I'm going to take your mask because I need to hide my identity. Bro, that doesn't hide anybody's identity. This is where he puts the spider tracer on her. So he goes back home, talks to Mary Jane. They have their little moment here. She's talking about how she's got like an inside scoop on a nice apartment. Maybe they need to like rent to buy or something like that. So some family drama. Tombstone shows up to the council. He's like, yo, I killed Spider-Man. And they're like, yo, we don't believe you. We're not going to allow you a seat at the table. He's just so pissed off. He starts tearing ass. Black Cat shows up. Spider-Man shows up. He throws this dude out the window. Spider-Man saves him. Turns out Spider-Man's not dead. He put a tracker on Black Cat, so he's able to trace her to where Tombstone is. And then we get into the big final act of this big bombastic Tombstone Spider-Man fight, illustrated by Sal Buscema. So they have this pretty cool fight. It's going well, not as exciting as one of the other ones, but it does kind of develop. You got some nice Black Cat. I love the way Sal Buscema does Black Cat. The way she moves across the page, it works really, really well. Some more of the fighting scene, some nice quips from Spider-Man, some great poses, not a lot of repeated poses. Buscema has a great understanding of form and movement. Tombstone's like, a fall from this height's not even going to kill me, so I'm just going to jump out this building with you and kill you. But Spider-Man twists him around. He lands first. They both survive it. And Spider-Man's just getting his ass kicked. Spider-Man can't do anything. And then, very simply, he puts everything into every one last shot because he webs up his hand, gives himself a web boxing glove, puts everything into one shot, and it's not enough. Tombstone's a little shaky, but and then Tombstone just passes the fuck out. Just passes the fuck out, and that's the end of the thing. And Black Cat's like, thanks for saving me. I'm still fucking mad at you, bro. Don't talk to me. So there you go. Then we get this Tap story where J. Jonah Jameson is out feeling sorry for himself because the waitress didn't take his book seriously. He's getting mugged by this guy. And then he's like, hey, do you read my paper? And the dude's like, I wouldn't read that trash for anything. So he punches the guy out. And then he goes and talks to this dude, and the guy's like, yeah, your paper, you're not doing a good job there. And then it's like, he's like sad about it. Concludes next issue. What? How do we got a 3-part story? And then on the second issue, you have a damn backup story that's also a 3-parter, but not in the 3 issues? Anyway. So overall, I really enjoyed this revisit. Like I said, I had these because I continued reading the Spider-Man books for a while after Maximum Carnage. Amazing Spider-Man's the one that I stuck with, but I did enjoy this. At the time, I didn't really like Sal Buscema's artwork, but man, I love it now. He's able to show so much action, so much emotion, so much movement, and he makes it look so easy. So freaking easy. All the faces look different, and I remember at the time thinking everything looked boxy and that everybody kind of had the same face, but it's not true. His Green Goblin is amazing. I love it. So this was fun to revisit. The coloring is really good. They have pretty much at this point nailed what coloring these comics are on newsprint, what they're going to produce as. I really liked it. We got some cool ads. That's one of my favorite pages right there. That's just a great pose. And I love that Sal never puts Spider-Man in like the same pose over and over. Like Kayfabe just did a video on a Spider-Man annual where, look at that, y'all. That game, y'all remember that Spider-Man X-Men game? So Kayfabe just did a video of the Spider-Man annual that Rob Liefeld did, and Rob Liefeld drew Spider-Man in the same pose like 6 different times in that damn book. You don't get that from Sal Buscema, and I bet he was cranking that shit out way faster. Look at Steve Young right there. It's pretty dope. I love these old ads. Look, there's an ad for Nightmare for Christmas. But it was a nice, fun kind of thing. I remember the name Stephen Grant, Saved by the Bell, y'all. But I can't really place him as doing anything else in comics that I would remember. I love the coloring on Tombstone, the white, but they have those light blue highlights. It really freaking works. Like I said, love his black cat. This big fight right there. This backup story is kind of whack. I mean, I get the point. I think he's trying to set up some stuff that he wants to do. Y'all, remember that? They actually reproduced that. All right, now this is the one that's got some dope-ass ads. First of all, this oatmeal Kids' Choice. I remember this shit. I used to eat this all the time. Strawberries and stuff was my jam. Absolutely. Great artwork, great line work, great coloring. Solid story. It's not going to change your life. Brax Rocks. Basically like soft candy gummy rocks. So weird. Anyway, love this book. It was a nice, fun revisit. I don't think I stuck with Spectacular Spider-Man at all after this. I think I just read this Tombstone story and was done, but I was always excited and fascinated by this Tombstone character, and since he was appearing in recent issues of Spider-Man, I thought it would be nice to kind of go back, and this was my first Tombstone story, and I think it's fun. You can find these super cheap at your comic book shops. Great solid 3 issues. You're going to have a backup story that doesn't quite conclude. But overall, I would give that 3.5 you digs. If you guys read that story, if you remember it, I know a lot of people have this in their collection, especially if you were into Spider-Man at that time, reading Maximum Carnage. You probably continued on for a while like I did. But it was a really fun revisit. So I'm glad I did. And that has been Marvel in the 90s. All right, let's take a look at the comments. Oh, I love movie commentaries. That's just what if I'm trying to dive deep. Like, I like filmmaker commentaries because I like knowing, like, it's like having a conversation with the filmmaker while watching their movie, and you get more about like why they kind of did that. Have you seen the new Hellraiser images? Yes, I'm excited. Oh, that's the October 7th thing that's coming out. Hey, Joe Corallo in the house says Sal on Hulk was incredible. I agree. Giants with a miracle comeback. Gambling is truly a way to get rich. Did they really come back, bro? No way, dude. Because the Titans are like, oh my god, dude. Good for you. I got so many people that are so upset, man. There's a lot of Titans fans in my area because nobody wants to be a Falcons fan. But god damn it, if the Titans didn't pull the Falcons today. This is an awesome night for Robbie. I don't think he knows how many shows and years this one makes. I've researched it. Well, I don't, but thank you for that. The art ain't that bad, dude. No, I don't think so. When I was a kid, though, I didn't like it because it wasn't Jim Lee. It wasn't, Mark Bagley. But, and I remember when I was reading Maximum Carnage, it was always the Sal Buscema stuff where I was like, eh. But in hindsight, I appreciate it more and more and more. Obviously, knowing more about his history, I still just love the hell out of that right there. That is so good. And God, he just makes it. It looks like he just dashes the shit out of it. Like, just dashes it the fuck out. Tombstone handling fools, you know it. Damn, Black Cat went after Tombstone like he was a chump. Sure was. See you later, chump. So Tombstone has the same ability as Luke Cage. Never knew. Yep, that's they were playing on that, and David F. Walker had a run on Power Man and Iron Fist that was really good with Sanford Green doing the artwork. Tombstone was involved in that. They kind of played on that idea. I'm such a shameless longtime fan of hot comic chicks. A legacy I hope never goes away. David, I'm right there with you. I just like hot people in comics, man. Sal is one of the OGs, you know it. Watching Robbie while playing Zelda high on that pipe weed sometimes. Life is cool as fuck. Just sometimes. Yeah, you know it. Yeah, old ads are a good reason to buy these things. I love it. That's around the same time I started Spectacular Spider-Man myself. You're right. At that time, I hated his art, but now I absolutely love it. Station Empire. Fuck yeah. I was talking about this earlier. Like, Jack Kirby was an artist I didn't really like that much when I was a kid, but it's just, you try something new, you keep at it, you understand that there's something to it. Maybe you just don't know it. Maybe it's just not for you. Maybe over time, your opinions shift and change. You never know how it's going. Joe Corallo is the greatest. Let's just get that out of the way. If you want some great Sal Buscema art, find the first 54 issues of ROM. They are a great read. The rest were done by Steve Ditko, all written by Bill Mantlo. I need omnis of that run. That would be cool. Mike, Station, how is the game? I just heard, man. That's wild. It's all about FF Full Circle. I haven't read it yet. I'll get it soon. I got one. It's set aside for me. I just got to wait a little bit. Lars says, I used to be a Marvel fan until the mid-'80s. Then it was DC Vertigo, and now it's Image. That's a good trek that a lot of us take. All right, we're taking a quick break. When we come back, the book report, top 5 movies of 2015, a little bit of show and tell. We're going to wrap this up because the Cowboys start in about 15 minutes. So, Station, we'll be right back, y'all, here on Rockin Robbie Live.
I love the chase and the hunt, and I set the pace when I'm running. I always take what I want and I always give it 100. Don't need a bank, no I'm funded. Play the game like it's nothing. I'm always thankful for something. Don't take for granted, stay humble. Now wake up! It's time to look at the enemy. Look in the mirror if he is no friend to me. It's not working out, maybe it's the chemistry. It's time to break up so I can make a better me. Better believe in your mind, cause it's everything. You can mold, shape, find almost anything. All it takes is some time and some clarity to find your identity. It's mind over everything. crack. And if you get in my way, you gonna feel the wrath. Gotta say it to my face while he's looking back. Mirror breaks after math. When I hate, I attack. And when I feel like this, I'm immortal. 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 Don't be scared. Just look me up. Don't be scared.
Everybody come join us here on The Experience this Monday, September 12th at 6 p.m. Eastern. Rex is going to be here. John's going to be here. Robbie, I'll pop in. Nick will pop in. We'll talk about our comics. We'll talk about the movies we're watching. We'll talk about TV. Maybe I can come in real quick and talk about how much I love She-Hulk. Oh my gosh, it's so much fun. I love Tatiana Maslany. She's my favorite. She's better than Meryl Streep. Yes, I said it. So if that's up for debate, then let's talk about it on Monday. So yes, Monday, September 12th. 6 p.m. Eastern, The Experience here on YouTube. Come check us out. Can't wait to see you.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Rockin Robbie Live here on Pop Culture Philosophers. I am your host, Rockin Robbie Billups. We've already had a great show. Let's recap real quick. DC sneak peek. We did that. Batman vs. Robin, really good. Other ones, kind of skippable, but Batman vs. Robin, number one, was pretty solid. I think you should check that out. The Fog gets better every time I see it, from John Carpenter. Marvel in the 90s, we talked about Death by Tombstone, 3 issues of spectacular Spider-Man following Mark Carnage? I got distracted because I saw Mark was in the house. Mark, what is up? Station, my man. Anyway, Marvel in the 90s, Death by Tombstone. Cobra Kai rocks. Rings of Power, Episode 3. Wow, really impressed with that. And Green Room won the PCP Army Horror Fest poll. So, yeah. Check out podcasts more at popculturephilosophers.com. Follow me on Twitter at @TheRockinRobbie. You can follow us on Facebook and Instagram, Pop Culture Philosophers. If you're on Facebook, you might as well join the PCP Army, the official Pop Culture Philosophers Facebook group. If you want to help support the channel, you can do so at patreon.com/PCP, like these fine PCP patrons right there, or through a super chat, which we haven't had yet tonight. But it's okay, because all the support we need is a like, a share, participating in the conversation, and a subscription. All right, Cowboys start in like 9 minutes, so I thought by cutting out Pick of the Week talk and New This Week talk that I would like have a clean 2-hour show. Didn't work. Just realized that when Robbie goes live, I can go for 3 hours. We'll see what happens. We're going to be rushing through it. I'm being honest. Cowboys are about to be starting. So let's get right into it. What's coming up here at the channel? Tomorrow night, after my show over at The Experience that Amy was talking about, join us for PCP Movie Night as we continue Horror Fest 2022 with Deep Red by Dario Argento. That's going to be fantastic. 8 p.m. Central Time tomorrow. Join us for She-Hulk Episode 5 Spoiler Talk. It's a review and a discussion with me and a great panel of guests. We'll be talking about Episode 5 Thursday at 8 p.m. Central Time. And Dylan's Horror Show, continuing Horror Fest on Saturday with Alice. Sweet Alice. Yeah, I think that Meryl Streep comment was a little... I'll have to talk to her about that tomorrow. Sean, what's up? I thought you was a Lions fan, Robbie. No, I'm a Cowboys fan. Now, my buddy Hammer Time Holshoe is a Lions fan. They wound up losing to the Eagles today, if I remember right. And yeah, Mike, I understand it's not a miracle for you, but our buddy David here had a free bet and bet on the biggest underdog probably of the day, the Giants, to beat the Titans. And station, David. Sometimes that's the way it goes. Sometimes that's the way it goes. All right, y'all. You know I like to read. I like to read comics. I also like to read books. So I read a book for the first time ever, and we're going to talk about it. It's time for your book report. And we're talking about Carrie by Stephen King. This is Stephen King's first novel, so I finally finished The Dark Tower. It took me 5 years to get through The Dark Tower. I didn't read any other books while I was doing that. And there were times where I wasn't like I was constantly reading it for 5 years. But when that finished, I sat down and I started reading some shorter books. And I was like, you know what? I want to go through Stephen King's catalog. Let's start at the fucking beginning. I've never read Carrie, so I picked up a copy and I read it. This thing's like 300 pages. Less than 300 pages in this edition, which is the one that you can get easily right now. I loved this book. Now, I like the movie, right? And you hear the famous story about this, that he wrote it, didn't really like it, threw it away. His wife, I believe her name is Tabitha, read it, liked it, convinced him to give it another shot. They made the movie. History is made. Stephen King is a household name. The book is set up in two different sections, and what really, when I first started reading the book, it kind of took me by surprise. So many of us know this story from the movies, right? The original, right? Brian De Palma film, or the remake. Both, I think, are great films. I was taken aback at first because a lot of this movie is, the way this book is structured is it tells the tale. A lot of it's from like reports that are written after the events. So you will have like sections of story about the kids from their perspective, and then it switches to like a report done after the incident. And at first that kind of threw me off. But then it was probably about like 60 to 80 pages in the book, which was in the first sitting. I'm getting sucked in. And then all of a sudden, you're sitting there and you get to part 2 of the book and you're at prom night. You're already at prom night, and it just has a momentum and a pace, and especially like it just has a momentum and a pace that just works. And the utilization of the sections that are from like reports and shit that are after the incident, they're meant to like provide foreshadowing, but they work so well for me, having known this story so much and never read the book, because you know where we're going. And so I can't imagine what it would have been like to have read this for the first time with nothing, like no knowledge what was going to happen. I bet few people did. I mean, I know the book was popular enough to get the movie, but I think the movie's what really set it off, right? I've been wanting to revisit that movie actually because of this. This book was quick. I read this in like 3 days. Boom, boom, pow, pop, pop, boom, if you will. It was really good. I liked it. It was somebody's first novel. Now, you could tell, right? But at the same time, the structure, the pace of it, it works so well for me. I really freaking liked it. So all in all, I would give this a 4 out of 5 ya digs for the book Carrie. First time reading it, very glad I did. If anybody out there is a Stephen King fan, you've never read this book, you like the movie, pick up this novel, read it. It's super quick. Like I said, I read it in 3 days, and I didn't spend a lot of time with it. Like, it's a really quick read, great momentum. You'll get sucked in. Maybe a slow first 50 pages, but it really starts picking up from that, and then it grabs your attention, and it doesn't let it go. So a 4 ya digs for me for Carrie. Very excited. The next book we'll be talking about is, I think it's a Brad Meltzer book. Dead Even, maybe. We'll see. Well, I guess we'll find out next week. I'll let you know before that. But that has been for this week. I lost your book report. It's a good book. You should check it out. Only 74 more. Yeah, only more. How about them Cowboys? Let's win it. Oh, I know. I'm ready. 3 minutes away. All right, it's time for our top 5 movies of 2015. All right, y'all. So I've learned a couple things on this journey of doing the top 5 movies of the 70s and the 80s and the 90s and the 2000s and now the 2010s. I need to watch more movies from the early 70s, and I need to watch more movies from like the last 15 years because I have no honorable mentions. Maybe Knock Knock would be an honorable mention for me. I got another honorable. What else? Jurassic World, maybe the first one. Spectre, honorable mentions, but I haven't seen a lot of the allegedly good movies from this year, so let's get at it. At number 5, I've got Furious 7. I really like this movie. I watched it for the first time last year. James Wan did this one. I love this one. This is the one with the skydive, right? I fucking love this movie. Big, dumb fun, as we like to call it here. Gigantic, moronic splendor. At number 4, Mad Max Fury Road. I wasn't as enamored with this film as other people were, but I do think it's pretty solid, and I haven't seen the Mad Max films aside from this one since I was a teenager, and now I have them all, so I actually don't have this one, so I need to get it. Anyway, good solid movie. It was decent enough. At number 3, Mission Impossible Rogue Nation, a franchise that I dived out of after 2 movies a couple years ago for Action Fest. We did a franchise review, and I love this movie. I think it's absolutely amazing. Great stunts, great performances. Mission Impossible, those movies after the first 3, they just keep getting better. At number 2, The Hateful Eight, y'all. These are in the movies that I really love. Like, The Hateful Eight was a movie that at first I thought was overly long. Didn't quite get it, but there was a quirkiness about it. I don't know. It's not my favorite Quentin Tarantino film. It's probably far low on the list, but I do love this movie, and I know that they cut it together in a different way and made it like a miniseries. I'm curious to see how that would work. So it's got some issues as far as a Tarantino film goes for me, but overall, I still like it, and definitely something I need to rewatch because I haven't seen it in a few years. And at number 1 for me, it's The Martian. I actually like this book a lot. I've read this book. When the movie was coming out, I wanted to read the book, and I did. Found it at a thrift store. I'm a Ridley Scott fan. I think this was great. Matt Damon did a really great performance, so I thought it was great. So there you go. My top 5 for 2015 is Furious 7, to which I see Sinner says, you can't be serious. Any Fast and Furious movie is garbage. Well, I would disagree because I think that for what they're trying to do, Fast 4, 5, 6, and 7 are really good. And then number 4, I got Mad Max Fury Road. At number 3, Mission Impossible Rogue Nation. At number 2, The Hateful Eight. And at number 1, The Martian. But still so many movies from this year I need to watch. What are your top 5 movies of 2015? I'm serious. Fast 4, 5, 6, and 7. It's the heart of the franchise for me, baby. That shit's good. Two Gun says, Knock Knock, Hateful Eight, Creed, Ant-Man. I said Ain't Man? Ain't Man. And Inside Out. Steelers beating the Bengals is the big underdog win of the day. However, big loss. I heard Watts tore his pectoral muscle, is what I heard. Tarantino is overrated? I thought you said like Dom. I thought you meant like Dom Toretto's overrated at first. I could be on board with that, but hey, fair enough. You don't like Tarantino, you don't like Tarantino. It's a style, you know. I love it. I love every Tarantino film to a point. My favorite though, man, that's a discussion to have. Because I bet it's different now. Because there are some Tarantino movies that have always been good to me, like Pulp Fiction, Reservoir Dogs. There are certain Tarantino movies. I'm trying to say Quentin and Tarantino at the same time. Quarantino. There are certain Tarantino movies that I thought were just okay, and they kind of remain like okay, but I still like them. Like, you know, I still like them. But as far as like Jackie Brown, I don't think is as good as Pulp Fiction or Reservoir Dogs, but I've always enjoyed it for what it was at the same level. Kill Bill, I think, is great, both of them. But things like Inglourious Bastards, that's the one Tarantino movie that every time I watch it, it gets better. It's like the John Carpenter's The Fog of Tarantino's repertoire, for me. It's the one that just keeps getting better. It's the one at first I thought, it's all right, I get it, World War II, Holocaust, Jewish revenge flick. I get it. I'm down for it. No, the more I watch that movie, I think it might be... I would dare to say that if I had to do a top 5 Tarantino films, I would put that very, very high. Maybe even at the tippy top. I don't know. Have you not seen Witch yet? No, I'm saving that, Zach, because we're doing Witch on Dylan's Horror Show for Horror Fest in October. So I'm saving it. Cowboys should be starting. Mark says, Ex Machina, haven't seen it. Sicario. What's that? Oh, I'm thinking of a different film. I haven't seen that movie. Bone Tomahawk, haven't seen that. Hateful Eight, I've seen that one. And Age of Ultron, the haters are wrong. All right, fair enough. Zach says, The Witch and the Black Coat's Daughter from 2015, that might change your top. I am sure that watching any other movie from 2015 is going to change this fucking top 5. I was like, I'm telling y'all, I did not watch the majority of these movies that came out this year. I was looking at it, I was like, oh, God damn it. Like the 80s, 90s, 2000s, I was down. I was there, man. You know, I forgot some things in the 90s, like Heat. You know, it's okay, though. But anyway, yeah, I haven't, Bone Tomahawk. Yeah, there's a lot of good movies I need to check out. Green Rooms from that year. Anyway. All right, time for show and tell. So let's get into it. So last week, Jay Strick gave me a Dak Prescott card. And in honor of the Cowboys starting now, Mike hooked me up with this Troy Aikman card. So I do want to shout him out for hooking me up with that. I just got the new Grant Morrison book. That's right, Grant Morrison's got a new book. It's a novel. It's called Luda. Haven't read it yet. I plan on reading 2010 by Arthur C. Clarke this week. It was already planned, and I've already written it in my reading journal. So, like, I'm not going to jump ahead. But as soon as that's done, I'm going to read the hell out of this book. It's allegedly the story of Merlin through the eyes of a drag queen. So it's like, not that it's periodical, like it's a period piece. It is the story of Merlin, but take that story, put it in drag culture, and there it is. And Grant Morrison worked, well, he didn't work in drag, but Grant Morrison, when he was writing Invisibles, did go out and like dressed, you know, as in what people would say women's clothing and shit like that. Because every character that Grant was writing in Invisibles, they wanted to get their head into that space. So King Mob, Lord Fanny. So I'm excited to read this book. I'm very excited. Grant has never written a fiction novel. He's written a book called Super Gods that is kind of like a biography, and I fucking love it. But Luda is... I'm really, really excited for this book, y'all. How about that for a screenshot? Anyway, really excited to check that out. And this might be my pickup of the year. This just so happened to come into the shop, and I was able to get it at a very good price. Y'all, I got me a jungle green Nintendo 64. Let me tell you something about this. I was always behind in video games, right? Like, I had an Atari 2600 when everybody else was playing Nintendo. I had a Nintendo when everybody else had a Super Nintendo. And when everybody else had a Sega Genesis and then eventually a 64, I just had a Super Nintendo. And we did have a Genesis for a while. I went out and bought one night a like John was talking. I was hanging out with John, Hammer Time Holshoe. I think we had just gotten off of work at the theater, and he was talking to me about, I was like, man, I've never played Mario 64. I don't have the 64. I've played GoldenEye with friends. I played this with friends, but I don't have one myself. He was like, let's go get you one. And so we went to Walmart at like 1 o'clock in the fucking morning, and I bought me a jungle green Nintendo 64 that came with Donkey Kong 64. And this shit has come into the shop, and now I have it. It does work. We have tested it. I have all the parts. I have 4 controllers. The only game it came with was the new Tetris. So that's all I have. I have an adapter now on the way. It was supposed to be here today. Now, allegedly, it's going to be here tomorrow. But I have an adapter on the way so I can hook it up to my TV. I got 3, not officially Nintendo controllers. But I do got one good actual Nintendo controller, and not the green one that came with this, so I got to find that. I already got a Mario 64 on the way, but yes, y'all, I got it, finally. I'm excited as shit. So that was my favorite pickup of the week, and now it's time to move into... Final 5. All right, we're going to finish up the Blu-ray collection. X-Men Days of Future Past with The Slip. Really solid X-Men movie, to be honest with you. Then we got X-Men Apocalypse. Not a very solid X-Men movie, to be honest with you, but that's okay. I don't have Dark Phoenix. So there you go. Then we got this box set, Yojimbo and Sanjiro, Akira Kurosawa. It's 2 movies. They count, right? Why not? I've never seen Sanjiro, but I've seen Yojimbo plenty of times, so this was a gift for my birthday this year, so that's super cool. And the last movie in my collection, Zombie, Lucio Fulci. I got the 2-disc Ultimate Edition. Should have got the 3-disc that comes with the soundtrack, but I never listen to CDs anyway. CDs what? Anyway, but that's the last one right there, but that's only 1, 2, 3, 4 movies. We're actually doing a final 6 because I always forget these ones. But I got these Blu-ray box sets. So let's show it off. There's my Sound of Music box set. It's a great set. This has got Sound of Music on Blu-ray. It's got all kinds of stuff. It's got this book. I've shown it off before. But it's got the Blu-ray right there. But the real cool thing about the box set, and I'll show that off again at least, is that it comes with this music box, which I could put, it could be a stash box if you wanted it to be, but it says my favorite thing, so you just put some weed in there. But it does play the song, so... So I think that's cool, actually. And my favorite Blu-ray box set that I do have a Wizard of Oz DVD box set that came with the watch. It's in the closet because I bought it on Blu-ray separately anyway. But this 10 Commandments thing is like one of my favorite things. First of all, I love the 10 Commandments movie. I used to watch this on TV every single year. So my favorite thing about this is to open up this set, you have to part the Red Sea. And you see the children of Israel. You see that we're parting the Red Sea. Do you see this? We're actually parting, and it's lenticular. Look at that. And we're parting the Red Sea to open it. That's so fucking stupid to me. It's awesome. It's got a nice book in there. It's got all kinds of stuff. But the movies come in the tablets of the Ten Commandments. So the movies are in this thing. And they're held together by magnets. And you open it up, and the movies are in there. And this has the original silent film by Cecil B. DeMille and the awesome one with Charlton Heston and Yul Brynner. I fucking love this movie. And every time I pull this out, it makes me want to do that bit from History of the World. The Lord has given us these 10 commandments. Anyway, you part the Red Sea to open it. We're through the Blu-ray collection now, so you don't have to worry about that for a while. Anyway, you part the Red Sea to open it. How fucking cool is that? Anyway, that has been your... Final Five. And that's the show. We would go a little bit longer. We started earlier. The Cowboys are playing right now. I gotta check them out. So, y'all, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Tomorrow night, join me over at The Experience at 5 p.m. Central Time. And after that, join us at 8 p.m. Central Time for Deep Red as we continue Horror Fest. Join us on Thursday night at 8 p.m. Central Time for our She-Hulk Episode 5 spoiler talk discussion. And Dylan's Horror Show on Saturday night for Alice, Sweet Alice. Remember, wherever you go, there you are. How about them Cowboys? Y'all have a good one. Station. Pop, pop. Boom! The Cowboys are playing. But we're going to open up this Raphael as the Frankenstein monster real quick. Because it's Horror Fest. Let's open up some horror-related figures. I do appreciate everybody being here tonight. It's always fun doing Rockin Robbie Live, one of my favorite shows to do. Well, I bought this one a while ago. I cannot wait to open this. That's a big, meaty, hunky, hefty figure. Looks great. I'll open it up and play around with it a little bit later, but the Cowboys are playing, y'all. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? How about them? Y'all just keep it real.
Hey everybody, come join us here on The Experience this Monday, September 12th at 6 p.m. Eastern. Rex is going to be here. John's going to be here. Robbie, I'll pop in. Nick will pop in. We'll talk about our comics. We'll talk about the movies we're watching. We'll talk about TV. Maybe I can come in real quick and talk about how much I love She-Hulk. Oh my gosh, it's so much fun. I love Tatiana Maslany. She's my favorite. She's better than Meryl Streep. Yes, I said it. So if that's up for debate, then let's talk about it on Monday. So yes, Monday, September 12th, 6 p.m. Eastern, The Experience here on YouTube. Come check us out. Can't wait to see it.
All right, we got a taste test to do tonight because I promised to do this because my homie Mike Matthews hooked me up with this Cinefuego Toast Crunch. So it's Cinnamon Toast Crunch, but it's cinnamon like fire flavored, like a Red Hot or something. Comes in these bags. So we're going to try this shit out before I go watch this game. Haven't tried this yet. I have been resisting because you guys know I love cereal and you know I love me. Are you serious? I hate it when they say easy open and they're not fucking easy open. Anyway, you know I love me some Cinnamon Toast Crunch. I like some spice too. What the fuck? Can't open it. This bag sucks. Put it in a fucking box. What is wrong with y'all? My Cowboys are playing. Fuck it. Resealable my ass. All right. Oh, it smells like Big Red Hots, hot tamales. Oh. So it's Cinnamon Toast Crunch. You get that flavor, but it's got some heat. Let's try a little bit of it in milk. Wow, that's really good. First of all, it's really good just as a snack. It is like hot tamales, Red Hots, that kind of thing. Got some of my almond milk here. Shit. Put some milk on it. Let's see what it does. That's a good flavor. It is that flavor, but it's got the heat. Oh, man, that's so interesting. Wow. It tastes like... No, I didn't. No, I just poured that milk. So, it tastes like Cinnamon Toast Crunch, but it's got that kick of heat at the end. That gets dulled a little bit when it's in milk, but it's good. That's very interesting. Wow. All right. Well, I'm not going to give it a perfect score like I would Cinnamon Toast Crunch, because Cinnamon Toast Crunch you could eat anytime, all the time. This isn't going to be like, I want to eat this all the time, but this was a really interesting twist on Cinnamon Toast Crunch. It is a little spicy. It's not super spicy. But for a lot of people, they would consider this spicy. It's good, though. Wow. I'm really impressed. Too bad I couldn't open it. It's not resealable anymore. I gotta get a clothespin. Anyway, 4.5 you digs. Yeah, 4.5 you digs. It's not too bad. Yeah, I like it. Station, y'all. How about them Cowboys?